transfer portal. He is one of those fifth-year extra eligibility guys for college basketball. He has played all over the place in his career, including for the Carolina Tar Heels and last year for the NC State Wolfpack. He's going back to NC State. He's taking his extra year. He's taking his name out of the portal, and he is going to join Justin Gainey's NC State Wolfpack team, which means his 5-year career, right, 5 years to play 5, will go something like this. Notre Dame for freshman year, Vanderbilt for sophomore year, Carolina for junior year, NC State for what he thought was his senior and final year, NC State again for the first time in his college career. He's going to double up now that he has that extra year of eligibility. Listen, I saw some people saying it didn't seem like Ven-Allen Lubin matches up with what Justin Gainey was prioritizing and building his first roster, and I kind of see where they're coming from, right? I don't think this is I don't think he is the ideal. I don't think he is the big man that Justin Gainey draws up when he creates his players on basketball video games. But you don't turn down good players. And this is kind of a free good player, right? You weren't expecting it. There was no reason to believe that extra players would suddenly become eligible, and he is a good player. So you do what you have to do to get him on campus. You do what you have to do to keep him on campus. And then you do what you have to do to make it work because he's a good player. And I say this all the time, but the best coaches that I've been around, they don't get married to a system. Some of them have a system, don't get me wrong, and they try to recruit players that will fit that system. But ultimately, they look at the players they have and they build a way for them to be successful around them. Justin Gainey has to do a little bit of that with Ven-Allen Lubin, but listen, he can be a double-double on any night in the ACC. You don't make a profit by getting rid of those guys, especially if they fall into your lap like this one kind of did. That's number 2. Let's hit number 3.
Number 3.
The very first edition of the Associated Press Top 25 College Football Poll has been released for this year. It's the first one for this year. Ohio State is pretty unanimously a wagon. They are a team that has lost a ton of talent to the NFL, and nobody seems to care. They are a team that spends a boatload of money on their roster. CBS Sports had a report out today that I think it was 5 teams or over $40 million in roster value. Ohio State was one of them. They're in first. Oregon was another one of them. They're second in the AP poll. Texas A&M, these are teams that are also in that category. Texas is 5th. Texas A&M is 8th. The teams that spend money are going to be near the top because they can buy the best team on paper. Okay, so AP poll is going to be very, very high on the teams that spend a ton of money because they get the biggest transfers, the biggest named transfers, the highest ranked recruits. I want to know what it looks like halfway through the season because then it's less about name and sizzle and more about how you are performing. If you're looking at the ACC, well, you're going to have to keep looking. Miami 7th. They're obviously the biggest brand this year in the ACC. They did get a first place vote, meaning 1, but they are in 7th. And then if you keep scrolling, there's Louisville at 24th. There's Louisville at 24th. Oh, sorry, I knew I missed one. SMU at 19th, Louisville at 24th. In the others receiving votes category, Clemson has 112. I'm going to say what position they would be in if the poll kept going based on their numbers. Clemson would be 26th. Pittsburgh would be 36th. Virginia Tech would be 37th. Georgia Tech would be tied for 29th. Cal, tied for 44th. Virginia, tied for 46th. Excuse me. Not a lot of love for the triangle in the AP poll.
Do you have Carolina in your top 5?
Top 5 what's?
The AP?
Carolina's not in my top 5 now.
I'm a little surprised NC State didn't get, I know Duke lost a lot of talent. Not even one vote. Like, there's all sorts of random teams that can get 1 AP vote in the preseason poll. But again, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, except it does, because if you lose, you tend to go down from where you've started, and if you win, you go up from where you started. And where you start does matter for AP polls. So, for example, Miami could lose their first game, and they'd be a top 15 team. If NC State loses their first game, which is against Virginia, who only has one vote, that would be very difficult for them to work their way into the top 25 without winning 5 or 6 consecutive games. So where they start does matter, and let's just say the chips are stacked against the teams in the triangle. You could also argue some of that is self-inflicted. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll dissect that a little bit more later on in the show. Don't forget Monday Soundoff at 4:15. If you have thoughts on the AP poll, we'd like to hear them, or anything else in sports, we'd like to hear them about 1 hour from now. 4:15, we will open up the Heister Automotive Group hotline, so make sure, set your alarm, make sure you know where and when you can find a way to dial and call on in. That's at 4:15 next hour. In the meantime, I mentioned we have to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of the Panthers preseason game against the Bills. We talk about the first-team offense, which probably fits more into the bad and ugly than the good, when we come back right here on The Drive.
Hey, this is Luke with Newcomb & Company. We're a residential, commercial, plumbing, HVAC company who's been serving the community for over 70 years. Honesty is the biggest policy around here. We take pride in everything we do, anything we touch. We're not one of those companies that come and throw it in and then you can't get a hold of them again. We're there with you hand in hand. Here at Newcomb & Company, what stands apart from other companies is we actually do more than just AC and heat pumps. We do boilers, geothermals, furnaces, radiant floor, anything that is odds and ends that nobody else can touch is what we thrive on. At Newcomb & Company, we do same-day service. That's also another thing that helps us stand apart from other places is we do same-day service because we have enough professionals to get out to these houses to solve what the problems are. And we're on 24/7 on emergency basis, weekends, nights, holidays, you name it, we're there.
Newcomb & Company, your Carrier factory authorized dealer. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-330-8323 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-330-8323. That's 800-330-8323. What do you have to lose? Call 800-330-8323. Again, 800-330-8323.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'm gonna do the prerequisite that we have to do before we talk about any preseason game, and then we're gonna talk about a preseason game. Okay, the pre-qualifier is it is a preseason game. Okay, it doesn't matter. Nobody ever wins or loses a job, right? Coaches don't get fired over losing preseason games. Sometimes coaches think they're a nuisance in its entirety. Okay, so take every conversation we have about the preseason and don't put a dash of salt on it. Take it with like a handful of grains of salt. But there's also cliches like how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you're going to put your first team offense out there, you're going to want to look somewhat decent. And when all of the talk leading up to the first or week one preseason game for the Panthers at the Bills, when all the talk said that Bryce Young and the starters were going to get 1 or 2 series, and they go through 2 series and they're both 3-and-outs, and you put them back out there for a third series, you are showing me that you care about it at least a little bit. Because if you didn't care at all, they'd get their 2 series, they'd be 3 and outs, and you'd go, who cares? Stay on the sideline. But you put them back out there because you knew you wanted to get a little bit of juice out of the first team offense. That's what you wanted, and you didn't get it. I mean, 3 drives, 3 and outs. That's as bad as you can get, right? I mean, I guess turnovers would be the only thing that could be worse, but then at least it's just 1 bad play, right? This is, you just got manhandled for 9 plays. And listen, going back to the preseason conversation, nothing in those 9 plays changes anything about Bryce Young. Okay, I want to be clear about that. Bryce Young has gotten to the point where the regular season is his. There's no quarterback competition, which is really what preseason is about. It's about the fight for the end of the roster and the fight for positions and the fight for spaces on the depth chart beyond your starters. Your starters are locked in for the most part. Bryce Young is your starting quarterback for this season. Okay, the fact that he was, incomplete to Xavier Legette with pressure in his face on the first 3rd down does not change anything for me about Bryce. The struggles that the first team offense had are, to me, twofold. The first is the depth on the offensive line is concerning. Now, we've had the conversation here on the show about how the depth across the roster is concerning. Okay, there's very, very little, very few, I should say, positions that I think you're okay handling an injury from this point forward. But the interior of the offensive line may have moved to the top of the list as far as Robert Hunt and Damian Lewis, who neither played because they're dealing with injuries, might become 2 of the most indispensable players on that team. Because the interior that did play, the Chandler Zavalas, it was a jailbreak interior. It was a jailbreak on the interior. And I don't care if you're Jonathan Brooks, I don't care if you're Bryce Young, I don't care if you're Chuba Hubbard, who's also hurt. I don't care what it is. You're gonna have a really hard time being successful with that going on.
Yeah, I mean, just off the top of your head, can you name any great NFL teams from either last year or just in general that have had a bad offensive line?
Well, I think the tackles actually did okay. Rasheed Walker had some good plays. Monroe Freeling didn't stand out as awful, and it was his first NFL action. So it's not a bad offensive line. The interior of the offensive line really struggled, and I'll flip that question that you were there any good teams with bad offensive lines? How about this? Were there any good teams who didn't have a really good interior defensive line? Right? If you look at the 2 teams at the Super Bowl, the Patriots and Seahawks, they had really good interior defensive lines. And you could go on and on to a whole bunch. The teams that have been good in recent years have had really good defensive tackles, nose tackles, and edge rushers that can bump inside. Think of the Super Bowl era Eagles. Right, you're getting the Jordan Davises. You're getting they just had the other guy that signed the big contract, who I'm blanking on. You look at the best versions of the Chiefs; they had guys down low that were really gosh darn good.
Jalen Carter.
Jalen Carter is the player for the Eagles, who I couldn't think of his name. You can't afford to have a bad interior offensive line because good teams are going to put some of their best players up against them, and they are going to get dominated. So that is a priority now of figuring out a way. Because listen, Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt are awesome. They're 2 of the better. They make up one of the better duos of guards in the league, but they also combined have missed a lot of games since joining the Panthers. You're going to need a plan for if and when one or both of those guys needs to be replaced, hopefully just for a little bit, but who knows? The other thing I didn't like about the 3 series is, and this is growing pains and it'll come with it, I didn't love the play calling from Brad Idzik. And I'm not saying he had to draw up some kind of wonder play. I'm not saying he had to dig deep into the bag of tricks and come up with something to spark them. But especially on that 3rd series where the first 2 have gone poorly, I think you need to look to get the ball into the hands of your best players. And I know they got one to Jalen Coker, who ended up being called back because the interior of the offensive line was downfield, and you can't do that on a pass. But Tetero and McMillan, they were moving him around. I like the fact that they moved him into the slot a lot more than they did last year, at least on a small sample size. But manufacture him a touch. Get him the ball. That's part of having a number one wide receiver, is knowing when things aren't going your way, if somebody is going to change up the momentum, it's likely going to be him, so use him that way. Don't have him out there, and if you're not going to, if you're going like, oh, well, we want to save him, don't have him out there at all, right? You don't have to play your starters or even all of your starters. You can play part of your starters in the preseason. I felt very unsatisfied with the way those first 3 drives went. Which, take it with a grain of salt, it is preseason, not the end of the world. And I've seen teams have great preseasons and then wet the bed starting week 1 of the regular season. So it's not always indicative, but we've gotten enough context clues that the Panthers want to have a highly efficient preseason performance from their team and offense specifically. In the Hall of Fame game, they did call some plays that you wouldn't consider normal preseason plays. They did go deeper into their bag of tricks, which shows me they wanted to gain momentum. They did play their starters in this one, and they haven't done it in preseason week 1. They haven't played their starters the last 3 or 2 years under this administration, under this coaching staff. They did put them out there for that extra 3rd series. They want to have a good preseason, and they weren't able to do that. So, be better. Right? So, that doesn't mean like, oh, the world's coming to an end. It doesn't change my opinion about many, but it does mean you're going to have to try something new next week. You're going to have to figure out a way to be more efficient this week. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. If you have reactions to the Panthers preseason week 1, it's their second game, against the Buffalo Bills, whether it's the offense sputtering, whether it's the defense showing signs of life, but then also sputtering later on. Whatever your reactions are, college basketball, Canes hockey isn't that far into the future. We have a Monday Soundoff coming up at 4:15. We will open up the phone lines for you in the 4 o'clock hour, so have your dialing fingers ready. In the meantime, when we come back, we have a question for you. Or actually, somebody is requesting a little bit of help from you as part of the Dean's List today. Find out what that means next.
Hey everyone, Dennis Cox here real quick from my good friends over at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. I'm 40 years old now. I understand how difficult it is to keep the weight down. It's not easy the older that you get, but it's a lot easier when you actually have a plan to follow. And that's exactly what Raleigh Weight Loss Center is there to do. They have a plan for you to follow. You meet with them one-on-one. They can sit there and go over your charts and your numbers. That way they can formulate a plan that works best for you. And that's what they've done for me. I lost over 30 pounds thanks to Raleigh Weight Loss Center, and I've been able to keep the weight off thanks to their program. And I have a wedding coming up in November. I got that wedding date. I got that wedding weight that I want to get down to. And I know exactly the plan to follow, and I know the people to get in touch with. That's Raleigh Weight Loss Center. If you want to get on the weight loss journey, give them a call. 919-897-7506, 919-897-7506, or visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. Set up that free 15-minute phone consultation right now at RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. Results may vary.
Hi, friends. This is Mark Pons from Chapel Hill Tire. I get it. You don't wake up excited to schedule car maintenance. Between work, school, family activities, and everything else life throws your way, it can be tough to find the time. That's why I'm excited to share that our University Place and Crabtree locations are open Saturdays from 8 to 5. Now you'll have one more option for taking care of your vehicle. Schedule your Saturday appointment today at chapelhilltire.com and drive happy.
Football season is back, and there's no better place to watch it than the Dugout Tavern and Grill in Apex. College football Saturdays bring $4 hard seltzers and $3.75 Miller Lite pints. Then it's NFL Sundays with $1 off New Belgium pints all season. Pick all the winners of the 1 o'clock games, and you could score a New Belgium prize pack and a Dugout gift card. Brunch starts at 10 a.m. all weekend. After the game, check out the brand new dart area and join a team. Dugout Tavern and Grill in Apex is your football headquarters.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. You push yourself in everything you do, scanning headlines for insights, keeping an eye on the market. Robinhood puts you in control of your money, all on one platform. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move.
With Bet365 Early Payout, you win even if they lose. Get paid out instantly when your team goes up big, even if they blow the lead later. Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Subscribe to our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. Appreciate it. Live stream every show, post a bunch of clips, podcasts, everything else. Pack Therapy, the podcast I host with NC State legend and my cousin, Mike Glennon. That's a new episode up last week. We'll be posting another this week, getting you ready for NC State's football season.
Hey, coach of Ravenscroft as well.
Yeah, one of the coaches. His former teammate at NC State is the head coach, TJ Warren. Sorry, TJ Graham. Getting my North Carolina athletes mixed up. But yeah, here in the mecca of college sports, the Triangle in North Carolina, we have a auto entry to the Dean's List, which means somebody is on a national award watch list from one of the schools that we cover. CJ Bailey, NC State quarterback, rising true junior. He is on the Walter Camp Award watch list. This is one of the players of the year. All positions included. Everybody's in the pool. I actually found this kind of interesting. The Walter Camp Football Foundation, who gives out the Walter Camp Award, actually is a bit more stingy with their watch list. They have 50 players on their watch list. I thought that was interesting because a lot of these awards are just for one position, and it's like 80 names, and it's like basically if you were a starter last year or you might be a starter this year, you're on the list. Just 50, and that like I said, that's all positions, so it's a bit more exclusive, bit more prestigious to be on the Walter Camp Award watch list than some of the other ones that we've mentioned. So shout out to CJ Bailey for making the cut. Darian Mensah, former Duke quarterback, did as well. But no others from the state of North Carolina. So CJ Bailey auto bid onto the Dean's List. I'm going to pair, since CJ Bailey NC State quarterback, I'm putting NC State and Gigi's Playhouse on the Dean's List. NC State had their annual, I believe they call it Victory Day, over the weekend, and Gigi's Playhouse is a philanthropic organization, a charity in the area that is raising money, and their efforts and the organizations and everything that they put forth are to benefit those with Down syndrome in the area. And when you mix the Victory Day with Gigi's Playhouse, you end up with a really cool experience at NC State's training camp for many of the people that Gigi's Playhouse works with. And the videos, the pictures, the stories that came out of that day, which was a really cool day for everybody. Looked like everybody had a blast. Looked like everybody had a really good time. So they're all on the Dean's List for bringing awareness and bringing some good memories for everybody involved. Max, do you have any Dean's Listers you would like to throw on here?
Yeah, everybody who played their local college golf that made it into the top 50 of the FedEx Cup standings, and therefore will be playing in this week's BMW Championship at Belle Reve is on my Dean's List. So that is Michael Brennan, Alex Fitzpatrick from Wake Forest, Cameron Young as well, Wake Forest Demon Deacon, You've got Alex Smalley from Duke. You've got Ben Griffin from North Carolina, Ryan Gerard from North Carolina. Long list of local collegiate golfers who have made their way through. Even JT Poston from Western Carolina. And although I don't believe he played college golf here, Akshay Bhatia is a local product, and he made it into the top 50 and is in the field this week as well.
Akshay lives in the area. He's a resident. He, I believe, didn't even finish high school golf. I think he turned pro at like 16. So not the college connection, but how about this for a statistic? Top 50 are all that remains in the PGA FedEx Cup playoffs, right? So this week, BMW Championship, they are going to have just the top 50 in FedEx Cup points from this year. 14% of the top 50. 14%, I believe. Got this right. Played their college golf in the state of North Carolina. That's pretty good, right? Golf state? Everyone says hoop state. Golf state? Maybe. It's pretty good. I had them on the list as well. Continuing with the Dean's List, this is where I said somebody needs your help. Here's a request. NC Central, okay? Local college athletic program. This comes from the North Carolina Central University Cheerleaders Facebook account. They need a name for a new Lady Eagle mascot. So they have their traditional mascot. It is a eagle, like I'm talking the mascot, like the big foam whatever the you put on the suit. Eddie the Eagle is the name of their mascot that they have had. They posted this to their account. Our hot bombshell has landed in the nest and coupled up with Eddie the Eagle, but we need your help naming her. Vote and comment the name you think is best fit for Eddie's lover. The results will be revealed at the end of the week. They have a new mascot they are adding to their cheer squad, to their entertainment group, and it is a lover, as they describe it, of their current Eddie the Eagle. And they have a picture up. You can go look at it, but they want to name it. Here are the options that they are asking people to vote on. Eve the Eagle, Ella the Eagle, Eden the Eagle, Emmy the Eagle, or Annie the Eagle. They asked to please cast your vote. Out of those, I guess I like Eve, but here's my issue. I don't know if I want it to sound too similar to Eddie the Eagle, because then it starts seeming like siblings rather than. I think you might want to go with something a little more off the beaten path. But that's just me. Or maybe go with like Mr. and Mrs. Eagle. Eddie the Eagle, and then Mrs. Eagle, kind of like Mrs. Wolf. But either way, that's up to you. You might get a chance to forever change the history of NC Central Athletics if you go on and you vote or suggest a name that ends up being the name of Eddie the Eagle's booth hang. What would you vote for, Max?
Run the options by one more time.
It is. They all end in the Eagle, so just assume Eve, Ella, Eden, Emmy, or Annie. But I assume you can, like, they ask for votes in the comments, so I assume you could.
For alternative options,
you could
as well.
You could write in.
I don't know. I kind of like Eve out of that group, but it's going to be alliteration, so it's going to be some kind of E name, right?
What if you name it like NC or something like that?
Caroline. The Hurricanes did that.
Just
then Caroline disappeared.
Or like something with Central. I don't know. Like you can build in a
Central
different direction.
the Eagle. The Lady Eagle.
Like Senny. I don't know. I'm making stuff up here. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. More Dean's List. How about Michigan? And this is just old school rivalry stuff going on here. Michigan somehow. So for those that don't know, Michigan, Ohio State. I don't know why I would say you don't know. Everybody knows. Michigan, Ohio State, big rivals. Ohio State this weekend, it was reported they have moved their senior day activities and festivities. Ohio State, their last home game is when you do senior day. Everybody, they are moving senior day from their last home game to their first home game for all of the pregame, celebrations and parents being honored and everything, because they don't want senior day to be on Michigan Day. They want all distractions from the rivalry to be thrown out. If I'm Michigan, I'm going, oh, we live in your brain rent free. We've got all the real estate. You're moving senior day because that's the reason you might lose to us? You think, oh, it's because you got too emotional giving mom a hug before the game that you okay, sure. How about you just focus on winning the game and not come on now.
These two are obsessed with each other. What was the story last week? It was like Kyle Whittingham said it's just a game, or like we don't have to hate them to beat them, or something like
really
that.
Mad.
Every other week, every other day, there's something coming up with this rivalry. It's like, all right, we get it. Like, you guys are rivals and you want to beat each other so bad. Like, okay.
I saw fans that wanted Whittingham to, like, I guess he's friends with Urban Meyer. I guess they go way back. Urban Meyer's like Notre Dame and Ohio State side of that thing, obviously, like not Michigan. Michigan fans wanted Whittingham to like denounce his friendship to Urban Meyer, wanted him to like publicly say, like, I will not fraternize with him until I am done coaching Michigan, which is just hilarious. More Dean's List here. We got another minute or two. How about University of Delaware basketball legend Elena Delle Donne? Or should I say Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame officially inducted now Delaware basketball legend Elena Delle Donne. The inductions over the weekend, what was it? It was Amari Stoudemire was involved. Mark Few got inducted. Doc Rivers inducted. D'Antoni, excuse me, inducted. 1996 Women's Basketball Olympic Team inducted. Shamik Holdsclaw inducted. I'm doing all this from memory. And now I'm blanking. There was another women's basketball player. But either way, Elena went in. And as we have talked about in the past, the Basketball Hall of Fame is not the NBA WNBA Hall of Fame. It is the Basketball Hall of Fame, which means her exploits at the University of Delaware are included in her resume. Thus, Delaware Hall of Famer.
Let's see. We had Shamik Holdsclaw.
Yep.
You forgot referee Joey Crawford.
I did forget referee Joey Crawford. 500 postseason games. That's a lot of refereeing.
I think you got everybody else. Yes, you mentioned Candace Parker.
Nope, that's the one I forgot.
Candace Parker.
I said I knew there was another women's basketball.
You got everybody else, though.
Still, Elena, the only one that went to Delaware is Elena, so that's what I was paying attention to. She was on campus when I was on campus. It was pretty ridiculous. She's unreal. Scored 54 points against JMU in a college game. 54. And now she's a Hall of Famer. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is the Dean's List. We can go ahead and dismiss. So I can tell you all about Kalshi. Before the season even kicks off, everyone has a prediction. Who wins the division? Who makes the playoffs? Who's lifting the trophy at season's end? On Kalshi, America's #1 prediction market platform, you can trade those predictions and many, many more in a live market. For example, Tedero McMillan. I think they need to get him the ball more. If they do, maybe he leads the NFL in receiving yards. If he does, that's trading at less than 1% right now, which means a $100 trade would pay out just under $3,500 if it happens. Just feed him the ball. That's my advice. On Kalshi, you have to remember this as well. You're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. Trade the draft pick, the game, and more on Kalshi. Download the Kalshi app and use code TIMD. That's code TIMD to get up to $500 in bonus credits when you trade $25. KALSHI, Kalshi. Trade on anything. 18 plus only. Restriction and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Kalshi products are not available in all jurisdictions. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see Kalshi.com/regulatory. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. The Drive with Tim Donnelly comes back with winners and losers. Stick around.
Curious about how a new smile could boost your confidence? At Chapel Hill Family and Cosmetic Dentistry, Dr. James Ferguson and his team use advanced technology and cutting-edge patient care for complete smile transformations, from subtle enhancements to full mouth rehabilitation. For a limited time, get a complimentary cosmetic consult to see what they can do for you. Visit chapelhilldds.com to request your free consultation today. Come see what's possible. chapelhilldds.com.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
Squirrels, nail pops, even bullet holes. This is Holly from Roofworks, and those are some of the main things we see that cause roof leaks. It's never a bad idea to stick your head in the attic periodically and check sheetrock on the ceiling and walls. Finding problems early can save you hundreds to thousands of dollars. Roofworks wants to help you stay ahead of the game with preventative maintenance for your home or business. At Roofworks, we don't want to be the biggest, we just want to be the best. Roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. My favorite place to go in the Triangle for the best wings on the planet. How about this special? Every Monday, half-priced wings all day. Dine-in only. Now that's a deal, baby. Everything on the menu is amazing. Pizza, apps, and always great drink specials. Visit any of their 5 Triangle locations and their pet-friendly patio, too. Online, buffbrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Happy Monday, everybody. If you're a baller, you might just end up on the winners list of winners and losers. It is time to play winners and losers. And, of course, as I remind you often, this is not who won and lost on the scoreboard. We can all check a box score. This is who won and lost the last week on vibes, who won and lost the last week on aura. If you have some that you'd like to pass along, a winner or a loser or both, 99.9 The Fan YouTube, live stream, jump in the live chat, jump in those comments, and we'll be good to go. Let's fire it up. Little winners and losers.
This team will never lose again.
I'll get us started. Winner, I know he did win on the scoreboard, but it was big enough that he ends up winning also. Scottie Scheffler at the St. Jude's Championship. 17 under. This is the playoff, right? This is supposed to be the 70 best golfers on the PGA Tour this year. He went 17 under. Siwoo Kim, who finished in second place, 9 under.
Biggest winning margin at TPC Southwind in 68 years.
68 years? Were we like Ben Hogan or something like that? How far back does 68 go? Speaking of all-time greats, just because I'm a Tiger guy and people always want to, Scheffler's on Tiger. Scottie Scheffler picked up his second PGA Tour win of 8 or more. So by 8 or more strokes. That now gives him the second most wins by 8 or more strokes of any player on the PGA Tour. He's tied, along with Ernie Els and a few others. Tiger Woods did it 10 times. 10. Scottie's second, and he's tied for the most not Tiger in the last 40 years. Just throwing that out there.
He also tied Tiger for, I think, most instances of or seasons with multiple PGA Tour wins. Or it was something like back-to-back seasons with multiple PGA Tour wins.
He definitely doesn't. I think he has now 20-something wins. Tiger has 80-something. So,
he's well behind in the number of total wins.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think. Did Tiger? I guess with all the injuries and stuff, he would take years off. So the consecutives.
I think it was
the consecutives didn't happen.
Yeah, I think it's years in a row with multiple PGA Tour wins, and I think Tiger had 2 separate instances of 5 in a row. But because of injuries and stuff, they weren't all consecutive.
And stuff? What was going on in like 09-10? That would be and stuff. Is that what you're talking? Never mind. I don't defend everything the guy does. Just he's a really, really good golfer. Loser. Jaden Daniels. Not because, like, I'm already past the whole cease and desist thing, whatever. Apparently it was overblown, but it's got to be rough to just have a weekend of everyone on the internet doing their best to just cook you in meme fashion, memes, GIFs, tweets, posts, whatever you want to call it. Jaden Daniels has been getting roasted by, like, why are the Mets jumping in? Right? The Mets scored 4, and they posted, like, oh, we didn't score 5 out of respect to Jaden Daniels. I saw, like, Virginia Tech women's soccer scored 6, and they posted, had to add on 1 more goal out of respect to Jaden Daniels because it's now just a meme. But that's not fun for anybody, right? Just have the whole internet making fun of you. There were some good ones, by the way. I'm not going to recite them because, like, who likes too much of people just reading jokes to you, but there were some good ones if you want to go search. Max, do you have any winners and losers you want to toss in?
Yeah, not much of a fun one, and I've turned the music off by accident, but not a fun one for a lot of golf fans, but I'll have to put Jordan Spieth on this. Was just outside the cut line for that top 50 to make it to the BMW Championship this weekend, and just couldn't quite put it together after being tied for the lead in the first round. He shot 5 under round 1. Just couldn't find any kind of consistency over the weekend. Ended up missing out. I think he finished 51st or 52nd or something like that. So, bit of a fall from grace for one of the more exciting players in PGA Tour when he's really on. So, Jordan Spieth, unfortunately, is one of my losers this week.
Over the weekend, somebody noticed that Cam Newton and Ben Roethlisberger and these guys were going to be first-time eligible for the Hall of Fame. And they put it in a group chat I'm with some of my buddies. And it's basically said, like, gosh, I feel old because, guys that we, like, remember being drafted are now eligible for the Hall of Fame. Do you know what made me feel really old? Now, Spieth did not make it to the next round of the postseason, but in the FedEx playoffs, he made the round of 70. He made the first round for the 14th consecutive year. And I went, there's no, Jordan Spieth hasn't been on tour for 14 years. What are we like? It made me feel extremely old. He's still one of the new up-and-comers. He's got a whole career ahead of him. He's actually like a veteran, like kind of old man on tour now. Some of the young guys
making their way. Would it make you feel old if I told you his last major championship was 9 years ago?
Yes, that makes me feel old. He's just working through some things. There was a point in time where if you would have asked, like, over under 7 majors, people for Spieth would have said over. Over under 8, people would have been like, probably over. Wasn't a long time, but there was like a 1-year stretch where people would have given him insane amounts. More winners and losers. How about winner? Michael Phelps. Just a good anniversary. On this date in 2008, he finished the 8 gold medals in the Beijing Olympics, breaking the record, obviously, for most gold in a single Olympics. If I were him, I would just like to be reminded of that often. So the anniversary would definitely be one of them. Finished with 23 gold medals. Loser, Arizona Cardinals. But I'm going to be specific here. They played their star running back, their very highly drafted running back, Jeremiah Love, a ton. He had like 23 touches, and he ended up getting a high ankle sprain. I'm not making them a loser for the decision to play him. I actually kind of like the decision. I'm making them a loser just because they have to put up with everybody calling them dumb. People are really piling on. Do you know what my question is? The Cardinals aren't going to win anything this year. Okay, let's baseline that, right? They're not a very good team. They are picked to have the lowest win total in the league. They have a brutal schedule through the first 10 weeks. Like, they're not going to win anything this year. What's the difference between an injury in the preseason, week 1, and an injury in week 1 of the regular season or week 3 of the regular season? The only difference is he'll be back earlier from this than if he happened in week 1. They need that guy to have reps. He's a young player. They want him to be great early. Play him. Oh, he's hurt. He might not be ready for week 1. I hate to say this, but who cares? If you played him in week 1, you would have given him 23 carries and he might have sprained his ankle. Then you would just miss 3 more games. Like, the only difference is he's going to return now with 16 or 17 games to play. If you would have waited to play him week 1, he would have returned with 14 games to play, and you just have less for the rookie to get used to this year.
And the more he plays, the better they'll be, and the worse their draft pick will be, because it's not like they have any chance of making the playoffs this
That's
year.
my point. Like, what are you protecting by not playing him in the playoffs? Reps are reps to this guy. Winner? Devin Witherspoon, the new highest paid defensive back in NFL history. Seahawks cornerback, 4 years, $132 million extension with $101 million guaranteed. Also winner, kind of Carolina Panthers. J.C. Horn, it was March of 25. That's not that long ago. March 2025, the Panthers signed J.C. Horn to what at the time was the highest paid defensive back contract extension in NFL history. With the Witherspoon deal, he's not even in the top 5 anymore. Witherspoon at the same position is making, on his extension, $8 million more per year than J.C. Horn. And J.C. Horn was the highest paid player in his position in NFL history a year and change ago. So getting that deal done first, before Stingley, before Sauce, before this guy, before that guy, before Witherspoon, it's already aging quite well. He no longer has to be the best corner in the league to make that value. He only has to be the 6th best corner in the league to make that value. All right, 2 more here. Loser. New students moving in for move-in weekend across the triangle this weekend. Listen, you're going to have a great time. The colleges in the area are awesome. It was hot. I saw, like, because
it's always hot moving in summer.
The sports teams love to do, like, welcome to everybody on campus, and they just, show the players, like, in their jerseys, talking with parents and stuff. And every single time I saw any of them, there's always, like, a dad in the background carrying a bin, face just beat red.
He's
just
sweating through his shirt.
Just, like, trying to balance, like, a drill on top of a nightstand, and it looked hot. And anybody that was out and about this weekend, it was hot.
It was hot at the old the high school jamboree on Friday up in Wake Forest, man.
It was hot at the high school jamboree on Friday.
Thankfully, some clouds did roll in right before the first game, so it wasn't as bad as it could have been, but it was warm.
Yeah, it was just hot for the 3 hours we were live broadcasting from 3 to 6.
Shout out to all the teams that came out and played in that, but particularly Warren County and Wilson Prep playing the first game at 6 o'clock.
It was toasty.
They took on the hottest one, and they played their heart out.
It was toasty. But in more seriousness, welcome everybody. If you know anybody that just got to the area, their first time on campus and all that, it's one of, if not the best place in the country as far as all of the colleges here, like total number, great experiences, athletics, academics. There's a lot of really, really good college experiences.
And with them
right
being close together, if you had like friends from high school that went to other schools, like it's like 20, 30 minutes away, or in the case of UNC and Duke, like 5-10 minutes away.
Actually,
go hang out.
That is low-key piece of advice from somebody that didn't really do it. Visit your friends at the other schools more. Only a couple times in college did I go like see a buddy at another college and get to experience that campus. But you can sample the campuses all over the place and get the different vibes. With sports, I didn't have a ton of time, so that was always my excuse. But I wish I would have just like made a weekend in the spring and gone to see somebody else. Last one here. Winner. I hate to be back on golf, but I'm a golf nerd. Raleigh native Doc Redman. He is the first this year to clinch PGA Tour status for next year from the Korn Ferry Tour. Just call it the minor leagues. He got the call up from the minors to the majors on the PGA Tour, which is a really nice comeback story. So he won the US Amateur, which is a giant honor in the late 20-teens. He was a full PGA Tour member from 2020 to 2023. I believe that's 4 full seasons. Lost his game a little bit, drops down to the Korn Ferry Tour, finishes in the 2025 Korn Ferry, finished 138th. which means he had no guaranteed status even on the Korn Ferry Tour. Had to battle his way back, gets on the Korn Ferry Tour, lights it up, and he's going back to the PGA Tour next year. You love a comeback story. Andy's from Raleigh. Doc Redman, winner. That's it for winners and losers here on The Drive. Again, if you have winners and losers you want us to see, you can go ahead and send them to us on YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. Check out the live stream. Jump in the comments, winners and losers. We'd love to hear from you.
Bryce Young has already been mentioned as a loser by the YouTube live chat.
Is that one specific? If that is one specific person, let me just ask you. I'm just curious. Why?
Someone else didn't specifically mention it for this segment, but there was another comment talking about Bryce Young. Hopefully, this being the last year of him being the quarterback. I assume we'll get some similar callers in the next hour.
I just want to know why. What did he do that was so bad on whatever day that was against the Bills?
Saturday,
like midday. He played 9 plays. It didn't go well for the offense, but what did he do poorly would be my question there. You might have answers. By the way, he was not flawless, but I just want to know if you just give him credit or discredit for everything the offense does or doesn't do. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Speaking of the phone lines, we are opening them up in about, we'll call it 15 minutes roughly. It'll be a Monday Soundoff. The Heister Automotive Group hotline will be open for your use. Call in with whatever you want to talk about at 4:15. We'll give you the phone number, and we'll open it up about 4:15. In the meantime, we have football at 4 coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Adam Gold in studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. All right, let's paint the scenario here. I need windows, but man, I don't have 3 hours to go through the process of deciding what I need, when I need it. Can you help at the Aluminum Company?
Absolutely. So, first of all, when we come out to your house to look at your windows, typical window appointment may last 45 minutes, an hour. We're certainly not going to make a 4 or 5 hour commitment to talk about windows. We're there to help.
Serve dinner last time.
Right. Listen, my wife always says, I talk to my wife all the time when we have salespeople, whatever we're doing. And my wife, I tell her all the time, I can't stand salespeople. And she laughs. She's like, you are a salesperson. I'm like, well, the difference is I'm just having a conversation trying to help people get what they want. I'm not there to pressure you. I'm just there to help you get in and out. And it's a pretty quick appointment. It's pretty efficient. So we're there to help you and make it quick.
I can vouch for that. The Aluminum Company of North Carolina, online at aluminumcompany.com.
Is your heating and air system ready for the warmer weather? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your Carrier factory authorized dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company. Your comfort is our business.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Hey, it's the weather. I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. It's a hot afternoon out there. Our heat index will feel like 105 or hotter across our area. So today is a WRAL weather alert day with a heat advisory in effect. We'll see a high around 98. Mid-70s overnight tonight. This evening, a chance of strong to severe thunderstorms with wind damage a possibility. And then for tomorrow, a high of 95 with another chance for scattered storms.
4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 272 points today to 53,460. This hour of The Drive is brought to you by All-Star Dog Training. You've seen their dogs featured in college and professional sports. They can train your dog too. Visit allstardogtraining.com and schedule your free evaluation today.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we get to football at 4, There's a cliche in sports media that in the middle of the summer, everybody has to fix baseball. How do you fix baseball? It's a way to fill like 2 hours of a show in like, the dog days of late June. We're going to have to start doing one for fall. Right now, if I'm looking at ESPN2, and the question at the bottom just says, can the ACC change its national perception? And we just have to make that the thing. Like, oh, is it about football season or during football season? And you don't know how you're going to fill the next 20 minutes of a sports media entity of any kind, podcast, YouTube show, radio show, television show. Can the ACC change its national perception? I mean, is there an answer? Probably not. Will we discuss it? Absolutely. Obviously, this has to do with the AP poll. Clemson, by the way, not in the top 25. I think it's the first time since 2011. There are certain things about just dropping and dropping and dropping. Right? The ACC keeps going down, but guess what? They were in the college football national championship game last year with Miami. If the national perception is falling, it's not because of something the ACC is doing. All right, with that being said, let's get to some more fun stuff. Football at 4 brought to you by John Heister, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. Get off your keister and come to Heister. We're going to talk Panthers here, so buckle up, everybody. And if there's something you agree with, disagree with, anything of the sort, just take note of it, because we're going to have a football at 4 for the next couple minutes. Then we're going to have a Monday Soundoff where we open up the phone lines for all of you. So keep your thoughts just for another 10 minutes, then you can air them out. Officially today, the Carolina Panthers announced the signing of Darren Waller, which is kind of a funny timeline of it all, because the Panthers, it was reported they were going to sign Darren Waller last week, and then they decided to wait until after the preseason game this weekend to make the roster space to actually sign him. But now, officially signed, sealed, delivered, Darren Waller, the one-time back-to-back 1,100-plus receiving yard tight end, is a Carolina Panther. And we've talked a lot about what he can bring to the team, a lot about the injury history that he has, a lot about, kind of to combine those two, the best version of Darren Waller, I do think, is exactly what the doctor ordered for the Carolina Panthers. Pass-catching tight end, third option in the pass game, big catch radius for a quarterback that needs a big catch radius, meaning a player that can have unbelievable body control and catch it kind of regardless of where you throw it. But there's always a but, right? There's always the however. The more and more I thought about it, this came to me over the last few days, right? I'm worried about a little skill set overlap. And it's not even a skill set overlap, which you see more in other sports, right? You'll see a team where people get really nervous about a basketball team if you get 3 guys that are all ball dominant, right? If they're all high usage, it's like, I don't know how they're going to work together. Can any of them play off the ball? It's more difficult to have a skill set overlap in football because inherently there are different positions and things. But I'm worried about a part of the field overlap. Okay? Teteroa McMillan, and I kid you not, and this is a weird thing to be like super definitive about, I think he's the best dig runner in the NFL. Okay? It's his favorite route, which he has said. He loves the deep crosser. He loves to get 15 yards downfield-ish and start crossing that formation. He catches it in windows. He has that long stride. He keeps it going. My coach used to call it cross-country. That's where you have like the long, slow, bowed turn upfield. You just keep going. You make the catch. It's great. Jalen Coker, your number 2 wide receiver, right? The locked and loaded, now newly pretty well paid Jalen Coker is unbelievable on in-breaking routes. Okay, I've talked about Matt Harmon of Yahoo, who charts every single route that darn near every single receiver in the NFL runs, and he puts out these charts, and it's success by route. He gives a percentage of each route of which you're successful, and it's not just like, do you make the catch, right? It's, are you open? Are you open on time? If it's a bad throw, you can still get a success. So anyway, he is at least 66.7% successful, and on most of them, well over 80% successful on every in-breaking route. That's actually, he's over 80% on every in-breaking route. Let me correct myself. He is great on the post, great on the dig, great on the curl, great on the slant, great on the inside screen, those little smoke screens. But out-breaking routes, corner below 50%, comeback below 50%, out route below 72%, or almost exactly 72%. He is great on in-breaking routes, not great on out-breaking routes. Darren Waller, by the nature of his position and his skill set, where does he love to work? The seam, over the ball, the ins. Your three best players all want to end up on the exact same part of the field. Now, that's not a huge issue, right? If you have a very, very good schemer and these guys are all winning their routes, you can have multiple in-breaking routes on a scheme, right? You can have multiple players moving towards the ball because you can layer them vertically. You can find space. But if there is one part of the field that I believe it actually is more difficult to throw to, being a small quarterback, being a undersized, shorter, however you want to label Bryce Young, I believe it is over the ball. It is down the middle on everything except for the deep post, right? Because deep post, you're looking up and you're downfield and you can launch it. But if there's anything like 20 yards and in that you have to put heat on over the middle of the field, that's where being a smaller quarterback does kind of hurt you. That's where you have to do the Drew Brees thing. And do not tell me, oh, Drew Brees did it, Russell Wilson did it, why can't? Those guys are absurd outliers. They might have, those two, this is not a joke, might have the best innate feel for pocket movement I've ever seen. Because they will subtly drift in different directions. When they step up, they're not just stepping up into the fat part of the pocket like every other quarterback, right? You just want to step up into the part of the field where the defenders are furthest from you. They're stepping up with shades to the lanes they need to use to throw, and that can't be taught. Bryce has it or he doesn't, and I haven't seen enough to say he definitely has it yet. If you have three pretty good pass catchers to really, really good pass catchers, right? Like they're from pretty good up to maybe great pass catchers on your team, and they all do their best work over the middle of the field, and your quarterback has an inherent disadvantage throwing over the middle of the field, that becomes a tough break for you. Now, either Bryce is going to figure it out, that innate ability, and it'll be great. Perhaps Coker, McMillan become better at the outbreakers and deep balls and deep corners and everything else, and then it doesn't become an issue, or it's just the way that the offense could be held back a little bit. I don't think you're getting much Darren Waller on the deep outs and things. He's a big slot player listed as a tight end, but he's going to be working the middle of the field. That's a little bit in the depths there. Hopefully you didn't mind. And as a repayment, I'll let you drive the next segment. We're going to open up the phone lines. A little Monday sound-off time here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. The Heister Automotive Group hotline is open, 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. You can call in now. You want to talk Panthers? We'll talk Panthers. You want to talk college football? We'll talk college football. You want to talk something else? We'll talk something else. The point is, the number, 919-860-5326. Monday Soundoff coming up next.
Hey, it's Dennis Cox here real quick for Loan Pronto. If you have a 2, 3, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to, but you can still get cash out of your home. Introducing Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loan. That's right. With Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. One local homeowner just got $100,000. They paid off all their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 per month. It gets better. There's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, no long drawn-out process, and listen, no closing costs. You may even be able to skip your next 2 house payments. Call Loan Pronto now. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com. See how much you can get right now. 919-381-1760. That's 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Having Canty and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Shador is somebody that showed you some signs last year and that people are excited about. And yet you're bringing the past with Deshaun Watson back into the fold here. The only thing I can think is that they're thinking, let's just throw him out there. We're already paying him and try to lose as many games as possible in order to make sure that we secure the best possible draft position that we can.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Progressive knows when it's 3 a.m. and you can't sleep, your mind starts racing, asking the big questions.
Why doesn't glue stick to the inside of the bottle? How come you never see baby pigeons? Am I breathing weird right now, or have I always breathed like this?
Progressive can't help with those questions. But if the question keeping you up at night is about your insurance, rest assured, we're here online when you need us, 24/7, 365.
But seriously, where are all the baby pigeons?
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states or situations.
When you see this in your kitchen,
the stainless steel fridge is covered in fingerprints.
You hear this.
Leslie, people are going to think you were raised in a barn or by wolves, or raised in a barn by wolves.
Fortunately, Wyman Stainless Steel 3-in-1 cleans, shines, and protects to give you the best shine. A spray and a wipe will have your fridge shining like a mirror.
Wow, my fridge looks brand new. Your fridge looks amazing, Leslie. Sorry, I was being a little dramatic earlier.
Your kitchen says a lot about you. Let it brag with Wyman.
Pros, find the right flooring for the job in Lowe's newly redesigned flooring showroom. Shop our expanded assortment of trusted brands and get up to 35% off style selections, Stainmaster, and Stainmaster Pet Protect Special Order Carpet. And while you're here, save $100 on a DeWalt 20-volt max 6-amp-hour 2-pack of batteries, now just $179. Get more of what you need faster and save more where it counts, from the ground up. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 8/26 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time, as promised, for a Monday Soundoff. Phone lines are open. If you call in and you don't get through, just keep calling. Lines will open up as we go. The number is 919-860-5326. That is Heister Automotive Group hotline. And our first up for today is, ironically, somebody named Bryce in Raleigh, but they want to talk about the Hurricanes. When you see Bryce, you just go right to, let's debate Bryce Young, but no. This is a Bryce that wants to talk about the Hurricanes. Bryce, welcome to the show. Go ahead and drop off.
It looks like Bryce just dropped.
Maybe Bryce I gave him too much of an intro. That's on me, Bryce. Call back in. We'll try to get you on. 919-860-5326. So we'll just keep it rolling. To Caleb in Durham, he does want to talk Bryce. So maybe the prophecy is being made true anyway. Caleb in Durham, go ahead and sound off on Bryce Young.
Hey, guys. The thing about Bryce is that NFL quarterbacks do not grow on trees. I'm only 32, but I've been a Panthers fan my whole life. So I remember, Rodney Peete. I remember Chris Winkie. You know what I mean? I remember going through the Matt Moore years. You know what I mean? I'm beyond. It sounds like a hot take, but outside of Jake Delhomme and Cam Newton, Bryce Young is the best quarterback we've had. I mean, of course, we had Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield on those teams with Matt Rule, but you could have put Joe Burrow on that team, and no one would have succeeded. And as you could see, no one succeeded. I think you've got to give Bryce some grace, man. He's a tough guy. I've never seen anyone take the punishment he's taken at that size and get right back up every single time. He doesn't get rattled. You just got to give the guy grace, man. Being an NFL quarterback's the toughest thing in all of sports, and I think he's got the right stuff.
So just to be clear here, you are okay settling for less than Cam Newton and Jake Delhomme? Like, you don't think you should be forever pursuing a quarterback like that can take you to a Super Bowl?
I mean, when you say less than, it's hard to – now, as far as Cam Newton goes, yeah, I'm okay with Bryce being less than Cam Newton. Mm-hmm. Cam Newton's an anomaly. But when you talk about, like, Jake, I mean, he was an all-right quarterback, but, he was it was part of the team. Jake
Mm-hmm.
Delhomme didn't take us to the Super Bowl by himself. It was our defense. It was our O-line. It was our wide receivers. And I think I think Bryce can be just as good, if not better, than Jake Delhomme. And Jake Delhomme's a fan favorite, and we love him
Mm-hmm.
here, in Charlotte. So I don't see why Bryce can't hit those heights.
All right. I appreciate the call, and call back in anytime, obviously. I'm not sure I'm willing to put the Bryce Young above Jake Delhomme conversation anywhere near ready. I'm not saying he can't one day get there, but I would have to see a lot to entertain those types of conversations. And also, yeah, I mean, Delhomme was in a different situation. He did have maybe some better sporting cast, better defense, all those sorts of things. But, he did take you to the Super Bowl.
If you want to go head-to-head in terms of playoff performances, Bryce Young hasn't had any with 5 turnovers.
That's true, too. I want to say, didn't Delhomme's won like 50-something games, though, for the and was well above 500.
No, definitely
which is
in terms of Panthers' legacy currently ahead, but it's not a terribly super high bar that would have to be cleared, but Bryce Young does still have work to do if he wants to.
Actually, I would argue this. If you say Bryce is similar to Delhomme, which I disagree with, but sure, it's not the most far-fetched thing on the planet. You would need to have the rest of the team as good as that Panthers team was if you want to go to a Super Bowl. Otherwise, you're going to need someone significantly better to take the current version of the Panthers to the Super Bowl. And I don't think you just settle for it's hard to find a guy, so we're going to put up with mediocrity for a long time. No, continue chasing Super Bowls. There's only 32 teams. It's not the lottery. It's not 1 out of 7,500 trillion, billion, whatever. It's 1 out of 32. You can go make it happen. Reggie in Sanford is up next here on the Heastra Automotive Group hotline. You can call in as well, 919-860-5326. Reggie in Sanford up next, wants to sound off on Carolina football. Reggie, welcome to the show. Go ahead and take it away.
Hey, how's it going, Tim?
It's going well. Happy to hear from you. What do you got?
Well, a little bit of optimism. Carolina's offense. Here's my quick take. I guess,
Just to be clear, are we talking Tar Heels or Panthers? We keep saying Carolina. I'm not sure.
Tar Heels.
Okay.
Tar Heels. Hands down, I believe offensive production will be 3 times as better than the offensive production of last year.
What makes you say that?
I say one thing, have Bobby Petrino.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a plus because he not so far long ago he did coach a guy named Lamar Jackson who won the Heisman Trophy.
Yep.
I'm not saying that any of the Carolina players are going to win the Heisman Trophy, but he knows what to do and schemes
mm-hmm.
and stuff. I'm expecting the Tar Heels' offensive production be way better.
Okay. All right, Reggie, we appreciate the call. Call back in anytime. Here's the Petrino concern I have. Listen, Petrino is a noted, signed, sealed, delivered, legacy secured offensive mind in college football. His time with Lamar Jackson included, but also I mean, he's been an offensive coordinator. I think it's like 10 different stops. And solid offenses have followed him pretty much everywhere. The concern I have is that he's at least talked the game of trying to include everybody, and it's not my offense, it's everybody. We're coming together. I don't like Petrino is the one with success. The staff that Carolina put together last year on offense didn't have a good offense. And the roster needs work or somebody that can squeeze every single bit of production out of that talent. So I would almost be I want Petrino to go almost like hero ball. I want him to say, like, you guys take a vacation, I'll design the offense, because he's the one with the track record. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is a Monday Soundoff. The phone lines are open, 919-860-5326. It's the Heister Automotive Group hotline, and next up is William in Goldsboro. Wants to sound off on the Canes. William, welcome to the show. The floor is yours.
Yes, I just want a quick reminder that we are still the defending Stanley Cup champions.
Darn right.
Still 2 months later. But I want to sound off particularly not just for the Carolina Hurricanes, but to the pseudo-rivalry we have with the Panthers and their fan base, because it seems to me like some of the fan base, not all of them, think that just because we're not going to have Jarvis to start the year, that we're immediately going to miss the playoffs. And it's like one player, the one thing that I love about this team is we've had major injuries to star players in the past, and it's always been next man up in the Rod Brindamore system, and it's worked out in our favor more times than it's not. Even the quote-unquote not sweep in 2023, we were in each game by 1 goal in every single game and could have easily won it that way with no Andre and no Turbo Teravainen.
All right. I appreciate the entire thought process there. I'll be honest, I don't interact with Florida Panthers fans a lot, so I don't know if they're saying that the Canes are not going to be great without Jarvis for the first couple of months. What I would say is be careful what you wish for, because not having Jarvis for the first couple months means you have a healthy Jarvis for the rest, right? And I believe Jarvis has been, Seth Jarvis that is, obviously, has been held back a bit by his physical limitations due to the shoulder injury for at least a year and a half, 2 years. You get a healthy Jarvis, I'm not sure that's what the Panthers want to deal with. Secondly, in the interest of like glass half full, right, looking for silver linings and everything, I'm kind of excited to see what Bradley Nadeau or whoever slides into that forward spot can do. You might learn you got another diamond in the rough. You might learn you have another stud. And yeah, the beauty of the Canes is, they don't have a 120-point guy that you take him away, it's cutting the head off the snake. They've got a bunch of different guys that can do a bunch of different things. Max, something funny in there? You stole all my attention with a big look like a belly laugh.
I'm sorry. It's I told you I have that buddy's golf tournament coming up this weekend.
Right.
There's every time I look at my phone, there's like 65 new messages in the group chat of them just like bantering and talking trash.
All right. Are you holding your own?
I was the first pick in the draft.
There you go. I was going to say, make sure you're representing the station well, but first pick in the draft, we'll be okay with that. We have Sean in Virginia up next on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. You can call in as well, 919-860-5326. Sean wants to talk Panthers. Sean, welcome. Go ahead and sound off.
Hey, how's it going, Tim? So I wanted to respond to something that your co-host, not Dennis, said last week. I cannot think of his name, and I apologize.
Max? Is it Max? Is it this Max that
yes.
we're just talking right now? All right. He's here for you. Go ahead and talk directly to him. I'll get out of the way.
So last week you brought up, you said that you thought Chuba Hubbard or Bryce Young was better than Chuba Hubbard, and I just want to know what stat, since Bryce has been in the league, has he led the NFL in or been top 10 in, considering Chuba Hubbard was a top 10 rusher in 2024?
I don't know if he's been top 10 in any stats, but just the fact that Chuba Hubbard was top 10 in rushing 1 year, I don't think that necessarily makes him better. I think Bryce has a lot of potential as the first overall pick. He's gotten better every year, and I think that trend will continue this year. But I'll accept that I could be wrong about that.
Sweet.
There you go. Hopefully that settled your guys' beef.
Bryce definitely his numbers are not pretty. I'm not going to go out there and say that he's going to throw for 4,000 whatever yards this year, but there's something there. I feel like they would have kind of cut bait already if they didn't really have some kind of belief in the organization that he can continue this trend and eventually reach that elite level. Now, I think everyone agrees this is kind of a make or break year, but I feel like they also say that every year, and then he's starting the next year. So I feel like it's a little bit faith and a little bit there's logic in there somewhere, but who knows? I guess we have to wait and see.
All right, we appreciate it. Thank you for the call.
Thanks, guys.
One thing I would add there, though, I don't think anybody saw Chuba Hubbard as a top 10 running back in 2024. He did finish in the top 10 in rushing yards. But there's a little bit of a difference there.
And I don't think he's a bad player by any means either. I think Chuba Hubbard is a very solid running back, but I wouldn't say he's elite of elite out there just the same way that I wouldn't say Bryce Young is elite of elite in terms of quarterbacks in the NFL. Could they both get there? I think so, but if that's what you're looking for, I think Bryce Young has a better chance just based on how much belief they have in him, and they're trying to put him in a position to succeed.
For my money, what I've seen is Chuba is a better football player at his position than Bryce is at his position. But just by the nature of being quarterback, you're going to be more important. So it's
a little younger too, so he's got some more
if
time.
If it's a
in theory.
projection, that's completely different.
I might not have said it the right way, but that's kind of what I mean, is that he has that potential within him.
If we're looking at the end of their careers, back at both of them and saying like who had the better career for their position, I would expect it to be Chuba at this point, but you're right. Bryce has a much longer runway of potential to change the narrative on that one. Back to the call-in lines we go on a Monday. Soundoff, Heister Automotive Group hotline, 919-860-5326 for all of your calls. And I've been told there's some I don't know, bickering might be the way to describe it, about Bryce in the YouTube live stream. If you want to bring those on air, we can have those conversations as well. Kevin in Raleigh's up next, wants to sound off on the, I believe, LA Rams. Kevin, welcome. Go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. Yeah, I know it's still week one of preseason, but just want to give out a shout-out to Stetson Bennett. Yeah, fantastic looking drives.
Okay.
I think it was, 21-25 or so, whatever, 2 touchdowns, $190 yards. I think he's in a great spot to learn behind Matt Stafford, and also he's got McVay as a coach who's obviously very quarterback friendly. He also helped kind of revitalize Baker Mayfield's career. Just wanted to give him a shout out and see your thoughts on him. And usually as a draftee you want to play, but I think he probably realizes he's in a good position to kind of sit back and learn.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Team in the future.
Are you talking about Ty Simpson?
No, Bennett.
The one from Georgia like three years ago, or Ty Simpson, the one that was drafted in the first round this year?
Oh yeah, sorry, Simpson. I misspoke.
All right. Yep. No, that makes sense. I was a little confused but now I got you.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. I appreciate the call. Now that I have it sorted out, I can give you a better answer here. I do think the most important thing in preseason is context, and because I am a quarterback nerd and because I'm an NFL draft nerd, I did do a good amount of going back and watching the young quarterbacks. And I can tell you this, Simpson looks good. Do not get me wrong. The first, 3 quarters, and Stetson Bennett started, which is, I'm sure where the confusion comes from. But the second and most of the third quarter, there were a lot of checkdowns, a lot of really, really conservative decision-making. And then in the fourth quarter, he started pushing it downfield. That's where the highlights come from. That's where he looked really, really good. I'm talking Ty Simpson now. In the preseason, it's really the only time where, like, the further you go into a game, the less I care, because you're getting further and further down the depth chart of the defense. So there was a obvious, as the game went on, he became more comfortable and looked better and took more chances and pushed it downfield. I want to see him do that earlier in a preseason game. But no, he's in a great incubator to learn. He gets to watch Matt Stafford and talk to Sean McVay. Yeah, I think he'll really appreciate what he's able to learn this year. I think next year, if Matt Stafford's still around, you'll start to see Ty Simpson be like, come on, man. But for this year, it's a great spot. Next up, Heastar Automotive Group Hotline, 919-860-5326. Lucas in Forest City wants to talk Carolina Panthers. At least I think it's Carolina Panthers. It just says Panthers here. We already had one Florida Panthers reference. Lucas in Forest City, welcome to the show. Go ahead and sound off.
What's up, y'all? Look, I love my Carolina Panthers just like everyone else, but it's time to move on from Bryce, y'all.
Oh, okay.
I've been a fan all my life, and he would not be able to shine the shoes of Cam Newton and Jake Delhomme. I want a quarterback taller than his offensive line, or at least taller than a middle schooler. And it's ridiculous, man. He's going to start off cold again. We got to start off hot. We got Atlanta week 2 and Chicago week 1. Chicago's no joke. They're going to come in here ready to fight week 1, and I don't think Bryce is going to be ready for it. Haynes King looked awesome. I'm not saying anything, but I wouldn't mind seeing him have some starting reps at least in another game in preseason. But y'all keep pounding, go Panthers.
All right, thank you very much, Lucas. Listen, I don't like any opinion on Bryce right now is valid, right? I think there's enough reasons that the issue is he hasn't been consistent. So if you want to point out games and say he's great, you can find games. If you want to point out games and say he's awful, you can find games. So everybody has the things they're going to lean on. Again, whatever your opinion is, it's valid, but they're also all kind of pointless because he's playing this year. He is playing this year, and I believe how he plays this year is going to decide whether he plays next year. So it's what's happened to this point has been, for lack of a better like explanation, it's been good enough to give him the starting job this year with no competition. Haynes King is not competition. Kenny Pickett was not brought in as competition. Whatever he did up to this point was good enough to get him another year starting. He's going to play this year. We're all going to have to base our opinions off of that. I can get down with it if you are somebody that's just like, I want the 6'5", 230 laser rocket arm quarterback. That's my ideal of a quarterback. Bryce is never going to be that, and that's going to be frustrating for you. But I do think it's one of the conundrums we find ourselves in as fans of teams, right? I don't think this player is going to do well, but he plays for my favorite team, so I really hope he does do well. And you just got to kind of litigate that in your own brain.
We'll see if the you mentioned the consistency. Like, I think there was a time, I think it was after the first Saints game last year, where I said, I was like, I've given up. Like, I don't know if Bryce can be the guy. And then he kind of pulled me back in with some of those performances. So the consistency will be key. And we'll see if they have another slow start, but that's going up directly against the Bryce Young versus the Falcons like meta with that week 2. I mean, he's 4-1 against the Falcons, 7-2 touchdown to interception ratio. Basically the team that he's played the best against in his NFL career. So we'll see. We'll see if that continues, and maybe because that way a streak has to end, either their streak of cold starts the first 2 or 3 weeks of the regular season, or the streak of him playing really well against the Falcons and usually winning. One of them's got to go. So we'll see. We'll see which one that is for early in the regular season. I'm hoping it's them getting off the schneid with the early season struggles, but remains to be seen.
If you, it's a bit of the Matt Stafford effect, right? I named my theories how for years and years we all decided how good Matt Stafford's season was by how well he played on Thanksgiving, because it was the only game that wasn't like Monday or Sunday at 1:00 because the Lions stunk. So we wouldn't watch those games because there were other games on that were better. And then Thanksgiving, we'd watch Matt Stafford. If he played well, we'd say he had a great season. If he played poorly, we'd go like, "Oh no, the Lions broke him." If you're a Falcons fan, you might think Bryce is great because every time you watch him, he's just dicing you up. If you're a Saints fan, you're probably going like, "How in the world is this guy starting?" Because every time you watch Bryce, if you're only watching Saints games, he's getting railroaded. So it's the consistency is the biggest issue. I would almost rather him be like super duper 60%. You know what I mean? Like just above average, but always that, rather than what we've seen, which is like for 10-minute stretches, he's like 90%. And then there for halves, he's 10%. Like I just want him to be consistent. This will probably be our last one here because there's also something that just came in on the text line that I need to, or on the text line, texting to my phone, that I do have to address. So we'll get to that. But first, Cameron in Raleigh gets to bring us home. Cameron in Raleigh, Monday Soundoff, Heister Automotive Group Hotline. You want to sound off on NASCAR? The floor is yours. Go ahead.
Thanks, Tim. I know you guys don't talk a lot of NASCAR on the show, so I appreciate it. But today, Connor Zilisch signed with Hendrick Motorsports, which is like the equivalent of the Yankees or the Dodgers getting a first-round stud pick from the Diamondbacks or the Pirates or whoever you want.
Okay.
So I feel like it reflects a lot of like the modern sports going on. So just thought that was interesting. The rich get richer. But I appreciate you letting me talk in some fast cars on the show, and hope you all have a good one.
First of all, I appreciate that. That was a great call. I love that he came in with the NASCAR insight, and he also threw me a little bone on like what it would be like in a sport that I cover and we pay a little bit more attention to. Zilisch, 20 years old, in the midst of his rookie campaign. So, yeah, that sounds like one of the young studs that like a team watches and thinks like, finally, we're going to have a guy, we're going to have a dude. He's growing like as soon as he gets ready, as soon as he hits his prime. And then as he hits his prime, you send him to the big bad behemoth, the evil empire. That's I don't know how you fix that kind of stuff, because you can't like lock players in, or at any sport, drivers, players, whatever, to the team that like drafts them or develops them and say they can never leave. But at the same time, you don't want everybody just bouncing for the big market or the big team or the big, legendary franchises every single time. I think you got to keep, it's probably not the perfect answer, but like the NBA kind of does with bird rights, you have to make it so like the team that developed you can pay you more money than the teams that are just trying to buy you out of the middle of your franchise or the middle of your career. But I don't know. Hopefully Zilisch has a good career. I guess people hate on Hendrick Motorsports the same way they hate on like the Dodgers for doing it. If that's the case, then maybe not too good of a career. I don't know. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The one thing I do have to address is just because I talked about it on the radio over the weekend. My fantasy league decides our draft order by how, at least this year, the speed at which you can eat an entire Big Mac. I think at the moment I'm sitting in 7th out of 10. I did not represent the squad well. I went in aggressive. First couple of bites were described, because we had to film it and send it to our league. First couple of bites were described by someone in my league as a lion eating a hyena. I don't like Mac sauce. I don't like the Big Mac sauce. And as soon as the sauce like hit my palate, my entire everything changed. And I ended up taking a little over 2 minutes, which is pretty embarrassing. But somebody did say like you have to say it on air, and I was like, all right, that's fine. I'm accountable.
What was the winning time, number one overall time?
Winning time, I believe, was 1:08. Maybe there was a little debate on whether he turned his camera off with still a little bit of food in his mouth. So I think we may have counted it as like 1:11 or 1:12. But that was first.
Was he still well clear of the next so much so like that wasn't controversial for him to be 1 instead of 2?
I want to say he was like a 5-second. We had a bunch between like 1:15 and 1:30. Then 2 of us were over 2 minutes. Again, not proud of myself. But the funny part was, and I actually think they're in a better part of life than us. One of the guys in my league is a JV high school football coach, offensive line coach. So he issued the challenge for fun to his high school JV offensive linemen. And there were multiple guys breaking 1 minute. They're like 54 seconds. I don't think they were chewing, if I'm being honest. I think they were eating it like a python eats like a rabbit. But it was impressive. And yes, I'm a little embarrassed by my time, but hopefully this proves that I am accountable. And win, lose, or draw, you guys know what's going on. It's really disheartening though, and like all right, if it's like 1 minute 20 seconds or less, I think I'm gonna have one of like the 4 best picks in the draft, and then it's
you
like
got a 208.
It's like 105, and you have half a burger left, and you're like, oh, this is not going well,
not going great.
So then you just start looking at because the person who was worse than me at the time like had already posted it. You start looking at that last time and going, all right, let's pace ourselves. It's coming about 15-20 seconds before last. Let's make sure we're not the basement dweller here, and that's not a good thought.
You get the wraparound pick there
Well,
At
no,
10, though.
It's you get to draft your pick.
Oh, you get to pick which pick you get.
So
I see.
I didn't want to get into the nerdy details, but I'm going to probably have like 106 or 7 just in the middle. Either way, The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, and if you can eat a Big Mac faster than 2 minutes, you're better than I am. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. When we come back, college football preseason rankings. The AP poll is out. A ESPN writer broke them into tiers. There's a lot to get to. Stick around. But first, Tim Donnelly here with Miller Lending, for Miller Lending. I need to jump right back into it because it's that important. If you're looking for a mortgage or you're looking for a refi and you're going, yeah, probably not now. I think I can time the mortgage rates better. I think I can time the interest rates better, right? This time next year, they're going to be lower, so I'm going to wait. First of all, what's telling you that? Second of all, just call Miller Lending and get a no-cost loan. That is a no-closing cost loan, which the beauty of it is, there's really there's a million beauties of it, but I'll give you 2 of them. The beauty of it is when you get your mortgage or your refi, there's no cost, no fees, right? No closing costs. That's beautiful, right? Keep that check in your pocket. But the next beauty is the potential to refi. If rates go down, you might go, oh, no, I just paid all those closing costs. I don't want to have those be wasted. I'm not going to refi right now. Oh, no. You didn't pay those closing costs, and you wouldn't have to pay them again. You can refi right now. If the rates go down, do it again. If interest rates go down, do it again. That's the beauty of the no-cost loan from Miller Lending. One of the beauties of the no-cost loan from Miller Lending. If you have questions, good, they have answers. Give them a call. 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377. Or visit them online at millerlending.com. Once again, millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146. We'll take a break. When we come back, those college football rankings I was telling you about. Stick around.
Move your sports day forward.
Carolina Panthers, it's not just keep pounding, but keep fighting. I love a good training camp fight. It's better to get that stuff out of the way now than during the regular season when it costs you 15 yards in a good situation. It also shows to the league you want to be a physical team, when a couple of years ago you were being questioned about it.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Is your heating and air system ready for the warmer weather? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your Carrier factory authorized dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
It's bow time. We think a chicken sandwich this good should speak for itself. But when you're talking juicy, hand-breaded, and boldly seasoned chicken breasts, piled up with thick-cut pickles and creamy mayo all on a buttery toasted bun, well, we are happy to say it again and again and again. Bo's Chicken Sandwich, only at Bojangles. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Time to satisfy your Bojangles sandwich craving. With Bojangles sandwich lineup, you can choose a flavorful Cajun fried chicken filet sandwich, or a tender Cajun grilled chicken filet sandwich, or a tasty Bo's chicken sandwich. Make it a combo and add your choice of a side and Bojangles legendary iced tea. There's a Bojangles sandwich combo for everyone. Summer just doesn't get any better than that. What are you waiting for? It's bow time.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Thank you to everybody that called in for a Monday Soundoff. Always enjoy hearing from all of you, and if you missed out, well, you have another week to think about what you want to talk about. Who knows what could pop up in the next 7 days, but we'll do a Monday Soundoff every Monday. It's kind of our thing. In the meantime, the AP poll came out today, the first of the year, Associated Press college football rankings. And, well, I'll read you the top 5. Okay, I'll read you the top 5. Spoiler alert, no ACC teams. Ohio State first had 40 first-place votes. Oregon second, 14 first-place votes. Georgia third, Notre Dame fourth, Texas fifth. Do you know what's ironic about that? None of them were in the national championship last year. They were both, meaning the two teams in the national championship last year, are sitting just outside the top 5. Indiana, 6th, Miami, 7th. Both teams, by the way, did lose players, as did everyone on that list, but also replenished just as well as anybody. Miami was good in the transfer portal. Indiana was good in the transfer portal. I think there is some obvious brand name where kind of management going on there. And what I mean by that is Indiana still, even after winning the national championship, is seen as this outsider. And Miami is an ACC school. So, of course, they're not going to be in the top 5. So you end up with Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, Notre Dame, and Texas in the top 5. You caught on. Miami 7th. That's the top ACC squad. SMU comes in 19th. Louisville comes in 24th. For the first time in over a decade, Clemson is not in the top 25. They come in as the top team also receiving votes, so that's going to put them at 26th. Kind of like, connecting a couple dots there. Pittsburgh received votes. They are 36th. Virginia Tech had the 37th most votes. Georgia Tech had the 29th, or I have that all backwards. Must be the 39th, tied for 39th most votes. There you go. I wrote down 29th. California, Cal, tied for 44th. And Virginia, tied for the fewest. They have 1 vote, which is also a tied for 46th. You'll notice no NC State. I was surprised by that. You'll notice no Duke. I don't know if I was surprised by that, but I thought you might toss them a vote just for winning the ACC last year. They could get 1. If Virginia can get 1, Duke could get 1. And obviously no Carolina. I'm not surprised by that, nor even looking for like a respect vote there. But with none of them in the top 25, we have to look further. We have to get another ranking. So to extrapolate out, I went to David Hale. David Hale, friend of the show, ACC senior reporter, NCAA senior reporter, does a lot of ACC coverage. You see him on ACC Network all the time, writes for ESPN.com. He ranked all 138 FBS teams. That's how far you need to go if you want to have all the teams in the triangle ranked. You have to rank all 138. A top 25 is not going to get it done. A top 50 is not going to get it done. You need all 138. So that's where we go. And he divided them up into tiers. So 138 teams in 20 tiers. And I actually think tiers are a better way to do it because, you kind of know who your peers are, but you don't get bogged down in like, oh, this one's 17th, this one's 18th, and you actually think they're like identical. So you had to pick one. So here we go. Tier 7 out of 20 tiers, NC State appeared. This tier, and he wrote longer descriptions. I'm going to boil them down to a sentence or two. Tier 7 was described as luck is impossible to predict, but the teams in Tier 7 either have some built-in advantages or are due for a few breaks entering the 2026 season. Other teams that were in Tier 7, a smattering of Cal, Pitt, Virginia, and Kansas State. NC State's the reason for luck would be their schedule appears to be extremely fortuitous. And they've kind of struggled to put a offense and defense together the same year. The years where they've had a really good offense, their defense has struggled. The years where they've had a really good defense, their offense has struggled. And you'd think if you just keep putting together, 50% of the time a good offense and 50% of the time a good defense, eventually luck will say they'll line up at some point and you'll have a good complete team. Duke, all the way down in Tier 11. The way I described this one, based on the explanations of David Hale, Duke football, Tier 11. Tier 11, every team in Tier 11 projects by ESPN's FPI, that's their Football Power Index, to win between 5.8 and 6.4 games. So this would be the bowl cusp. This is the do everything you possibly can to win 6 games and get to go play in a bowl tier, which doesn't feel fair for Duke. their peers, Wake Forest, Cincinnati, Georgia Tech, Arizona State, amongst others. Since Mike Elko took over 4 seasons ago, this has been a comfortably bowl-eligible team every single year. Manny Diaz has not lost a step since he took over. Now, granted, this will be the year with the least accomplished returning quarterback, but they've found a way. They've had good defenses. They've had bad defenses. They've had good pass defenses. Last year, they had a pretty bad pass defense. They allowed 5.86 yards per drop back when pressuring the opposing quarterback last season. 5th worst rate in FBS. But the one thing they've done since I believe they've brought in the right coach twice is win. Right? You're looking at an 8+ win team. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to bet them over on the 8, but I'm saying, shoot for the 8. Even if you miss, you land amongst the bowl eligible. Feels a little slighted on the defending ACC champions. And then there's Carolina. Tier 15. Which you may be like 15 out of 20? Hey, that's not as bad as I thought. This is described as the bottom class of the power conferences. Everybody below tier 15 is bottom of the group of 5, which is it's just different. You're playing with different materials there, right? There's different resources. There's different all these other things. Other teams in tier 15 include Boston College, Stanford, Colorado, amongst many others. And basically, the explanation for Carolina's expected struggles in this article is as simple and as I think it's like a good summary of all of the expectations for UNC struggles that I've heard. Last year, North Carolina went 4-8 against the number 80 schedule in the country. This year, ESPN has UNC's schedule ranked 29th. That is the hardest year-over-year shift in schedule strength of any Power 4 school. So basically, you look at Carolina and you go, I don't see a ton that's exceptionally different. There are differences, maybe even reasons for improvement, but the schedule is the largest expected jump in difficulty of any power conference school in the country. So you can't just get by with, little areas of improvement. They have to be astronomical reasons for improvement because they have to be good enough to swallow up the difference in schedule and continue to be an improvement on top of that. Bottom class of the power conferences. Now, I don't even know if this is the right way to look at it, but you have to try to spin all of this. These teams should be motivated, and they should all kind of be able to sneak up on teams. Nobody other than rivals, which they are for each other, but nobody other than rivals is circling them on the schedule. Maybe Tulane for Duke or, some of the group of 5 teams that you're going to play, but nobody is circling them on the schedule because, quite frankly, the hype is non-existent. I mean, the reason why I included the little part where I told you other teams, the peers that were in that tier, is because we get lost in our own optimism, especially if you are a fan of one of these teams. Like, this year's going to be different. This year's going to be different. And then you see the other teams that are listed as kind of like the same level as you, and you go, ooh, those don't sound good. Oh, no. Whoa. Those are bad teams. It's like, I'll tell you this. It's kind of funny. When I moved around a little bit growing up, and when I moved to Hawaii, I was trying out for the basketball team, and they did the old, all right, you on this court, you on that court, you on this court, and I thought I was one of the better kids there, and eventually I did end up making the team and getting pushed to the other court, but there is that moment where you look around and go wait a second, this guy's no good. He's definitely not making it. Oh, no, I'm on the bad court. Well, guess what? If you look around and you see Colorado, Boston College, Stanford in your tier, you're like, oh no, I'm on the bad court. That's what they think of Carolina. At least that's what David Hale thinks of Carolina, who works for ESPN.com. Direct your attention towards him. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are nearing 5 o'clock, which means we are nearing the starting 5, including the latest news out of the NFL and a very, very surprise familiar face added to NC State basketball. Stick around. But first, Tim Donnelly here for Maynard Service Company. Maynard Service Company, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. They do it all. And, of course, that's electrical work. Listen, I'm somebody, I fancy myself a little DIY, right? I'm a little handy. My dad was definitely handy, and I passed him a lot of screwdrivers, so I must know what I'm talking about. There are certain things that get above your level. Maybe it's plumbing. Maybe you're good with electric work. You need help with plumbing. Maynard Service Company got you. Maybe you're good with plumbing. You need help with electrical work. Maynard Service Company got you. Maybe something broke in the middle of the night, and while you want to try to fix it, everybody in your house is saying, get the professionals in here to do it. Like it's 100 degrees out and the cooling system goes down. You don't have time to do YouTube videos and try to figure it out yourself. Heating systems, cooling systems, plumbing, electrical. Sometimes you got to call in the experts, and the experts are Maynard Service Company. The number to call, 919-361-0993. That's 919-361-0993. Or you can visit them online at maynardservices.com. MAYNOR services.com. As I said, we'll be back with the starting five next.
Adam.
I'm Adam Gold, and I'm there.
Tim.
I'm Tim Donnelly, and I'm there.
Dennis.
I'm Dennis Cox, and I'm there.
Victoria.
I'm Victoria Bodenecker, and I'm there.
Paul.
I'm Paul Eihander, and I'm there too.
You'll find them all here on the brand new 99.9 The Fan app. To work, to school, the beach, the mountains, the arena, take The Fan with you wherever you go. Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today.
You've got rhythm. Your heart's got rhythm. Then one day your rhythm's off, and you've got AFib, atrial fibrillation. The good news is you've also got an AFib center, where specialists in AFib have multiple treatment options for you. Want more good news? Most of them are minimally invasive. Learn more at wakemed.org. And what do you say you and your heart get the band back together?
Hello, I'm John Heister for the Heister Automotive Group. And you know, we're constantly looking for ways to serve you better. One of the ways we do that is with something we call a Go-See. And that's where you select a vehicle from our inventory, and we have thousands, and we get one of our product specialists to bring that vehicle to you at your convenience. How do we do that? Well, it's simple. We have a group of employees that are evaluated based on the number of presentations they do. They're glad to do it. So it's just one more way we get off our keister and bring Heister to you.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. My favorite place to go in the Triangle for the best wings on the planet. How about this special? Every Monday, half-priced wings all day. Dine-in only. Now that's a deal, baby. Everything on the menu is amazing. Pizza, apps, and always great drink specials. Visit any of their 5 Triangle locations and their pet-friendly patio, too. Online, buffbrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Hey, it's the weather.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Kat Campbell. Scattered showers and storms are possible this evening. Any storms that develop could have some strong wind gusts, but they'll be pretty hit or miss. Otherwise, lows dip into the mid-70s tonight. Tuesday, we're back up to 95 degrees. Storm chances drop to 20%.
5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones closes the day down 272 points to 53,459.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting 5.
This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. And it is time for the starting 5. Starting 5 brought to you by Baker Home Exteriors. We do good work at a profit if we can. at a loss if we must, but always good work. That's the Baker name, Baker Home Exteriors, bakerhomeexteriors.com. It's a Monday. It's time for the starting five, and we start with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I feel great about playing football right now.
We start with NFL news. We talked about this briefly earlier, but I want to dive into it a bit further. Jeremiah Love got a high ankle sprain. Everybody was excited to see the next big thing at running back, Notre Dame, he runs like Adrian Peterson running back. And he had 23 touches. And he got a high ankle sprain. And the Cardinals are getting torched, right? People, why would you play him that much? What was the point? Why would you risk injury? You get what you deserve. Listen. The Panthers can't defend themselves in the only way that makes sense. Because they can't come out before the season starts and say, listen, we're the Arizona Cardinals. We're not winning anything this year. Our games in the regular season are just developing us for next season anyway. They can't say that because they have players like Trey McBride. They can't say that because they have players like Budda Baker. They have players who don't just want to waste a year of their prime, so they have to go all out to win. But in reality, they're not going to win the Super Bowl. They're not winning the division. Look at their division. They're not winning it. They're not making the playoffs. So what is the difference for them between preseason week 1 and regular season week 1? There really isn't. Not for Jeremiah Love. They can't say that again, but the coaches in front office should operate that way. So really, what's the difference between preseason game 1 and regular season game 1? The amount of time he has to recover and still have games to play. If he gets hurt in preseason game 1, he's got to sit out preseason game 2 and 3. Maybe he's back for week 1. Then he has 17 games to keep playing. Or perhaps he doesn't play in the preseason because everybody's calling him dumb for playing in the preseason. So maybe he doesn't play in preseason game 1. He doesn't play in preseason game 2. He doesn't play in preseason game 3. He makes his debut regular season game 1, gets 23 carries and gets a high ankle sprain. Because you're allowed to get hurt in regular season games too. Oh, well, guess what happens then? Misses 3-4 weeks, maybe 5. And he just has 12 games left to play, and you just shortened everything you get to learn about him in his rookie year. And the worst part for the Cardinals is the world is going like, you're so dumb for playing him, and they can't be honest and go, there's no difference. Regular season, preseason, we are not good this year. More NFL news. Von Miller signing with the Cowboys. Von Miller continues to be the mercenary at the end of his career. He's like an all-time great with the Broncos, and then he just became this traveling rusher, which could give it's, 37 years old, but he could give you an actual boost for the Cowboys. Last year, at age 36, Von Miller had 9 sacks playing for Washington. That would have led the Cowboys in sacks. Jadeveon Clowney led him with 8.5 last year. So, not the worst move by Jerry. Weird. I almost feel like I'm being tricked saying that, but not the worst move by Jerry Jones. Not the worst. All right. Let's move on. That's number 5 in the starting 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. All together.
So Scottie Scheffler, pretty good at golf. Turns out the guy knows how to swing a club. He won the first round of the FedEx Cup playoffs, the St. Jude Championship on the PGA Tour, which featured the top, I keep saying 70. Billy Horschel wasn't able to go due to an injury. So 69 of the 70 best golfers this year on the PGA Tour got together in Memphis to play some golf. Scottie Scheffler won by 8 strokes. He was 17 under par. The next closest was Siwoo Kim at 9 under par. That is a shellacking. And it's one of those things. sometimes I think we make sports too complicated. Scottie Scheffler came in overwhelming number one. Overwhelming. Like, even I saw this stat after it's kind of crazy, actually. After Scottie won the St. Jude, the difference in world golf ranking points between him and Rory, who's number 2, is as much as like Rory and the 1,500th golfer on in the official world golf rankings. He has built up a gap between him and everybody that is insane, and we all probably should have picked Scottie to win the big important tournaments. We probably should pick him to win this upcoming week at the BMW, and we probably should pick him to win the FedEx Cup Championship the third week of the playoffs when there's only the 30 best players. Because the fact of the matter is this. When you have it going like Scottie does, it doesn't matter who all of the other golfers are. If you make it a limited field, if you don't have 140 guys that are all potentially going to play the rounds of their lives to keep up with you, his chances just go up. This week, there's only going to be 50 playing. That's almost 100 less chances to have somebody play the game of the round, the tournament of their year, and give Scottie a run. It's just numbers at this point, and I don't know why we overthink it. I probably won't pick him, but I'm saying now that I should, and I'm going to kick myself when I don't. You're a golf guy. How crazy is Scottie, Max?
I mean, it's been kind of a down year in a way, but also like he's just not winning tournaments. He finally broke through, obviously by winning by so much this week, but it felt like the putter was kind of letting him down again most of this season. But if you look at the stats, and I think a lot of it swung with this week because he putted so well this week, he's actually having like one of his best putting seasons yet. So I don't know, like if he can ever really like put it all together with the putting into like one season, like it's going to be, and he's already had a bunch of crazy historically successful seasons, but if he puts it all together and wins like 3 majors in 1 year or something like that, like then it's really going to hit home like, okay, like this guy truly is on another level than everybody else on the tour.
Do you know what's crazy? It's kind of commonplace on tour, or I don't know why I said kind of. It's commonplace on tour for a caddy to get 10% of your on-course winnings. Scottie's caddy is entering into like the top earners on tour, including players. So Ted Scott is his caddy, longtime caddy. This year, he'll have made more money on the PGA Tour than Brooks Koepka, than Jason Day, than Tony Finau, than Lucas Glover, than like players that are good players. People that have won a whole bunch on tour. His caddy, who just gets 10% of his earnings, is making more than those players. That's insane. Good on Scottie. Good on Ted Scott. Good on the local players that have made it into the top 50 to play at the BMW. Somebody chase him down, please. That's number 4. Let's get to number 3. AP Top 25 College Football Poll released today, first one of the year. Ohio State first, Oregon second, Georgia third, Notre Dame fourth, Texas fifth, Indiana, defending national champion, sixth, Miami seventh. I'll read you the rest of the top 10 quickly. Texas A&M eighth, Ole Miss ninth, 10th, Oklahoma. If you're looking for ACC schools, 19 SMU, Louisville 24, Clemson, one of the top teams, also receiving votes. Other than that, mostly just toss-ins at the end of the also receiving votes category. No votes for anybody in the state of North Carolina, none for Duke, none for NC State, obviously none for Carolina, none for Wake. Looking at the top 25, though, if I had bones to pick, right, if you were asking me to critique the top 25, I think Indiana's being disrespected. Indiana being 6th behind some of the teams above them, I can't get down with it. I think Ole Miss is overrated. I think the players and coaches that Lane Kiffin took from Ole Miss and brought to LSU are going to be felt in a big way. And until they have more proven success at Ole Miss, I'm going to, they weren't a juggernaut before Lane Kiffin showed up. I'm not just going to assume they're a top 10 team now that Lane Kiffin left. Obviously, my homer hat is going to be put on, and I'm going to say that the ACC is being a little disrespected here. But, I understand that none of y'all will take that seriously, so I should probably move on. But, Miami should be higher. Miami should be higher. You could argue they got better at quarterback. You could argue they're at least within the same ballpark, edge rushers, when you look at the transfer portal that they've brought in, some All-American projections, even though they lost Akeem Mesidor and Reuben Bain, which I'm sure they're being knocked for significantly more than Ohio State is getting knocked for losing Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles and this guy and that guy and the other guy and Caleb Downs. Texas Tech's probably a little low, but we learn that every year. There's actually kind of 3 ways to look at this, okay? If you're just trying to guess who's going to be good this year, you can look for the teams that have the most money and just say win follows money. You can look at the teams that have the most returning talent and say stability leads to wins. Or you can look at the snazzy, buzzworthy, who has the 5-star transfers, who has the big names, who has the NFL prospects coming in out of the transfer portal, and who has the coach that likes to talk the trash, and who had I think the first two are more real. Follow the money, follow the experience. Everything else will fall into place. And the money is gargantuan, by the way. 5 or 6 teams, according to CBS Sports, and I had the article. 5 or 6 teams, according to CBS Sports, have over $40 million on their roster. $40 million! 40!
Somebody wanted to make sure in the YouTube chat earlier that we mentioned Notre Dame is one of those teams that has a $40 million roster.
Sure. Is this were you these vibes that you're getting from that commenter? Are they pro Notre Dame or?
He's a Notre Dame fan.
Okay, all right. Then we should talk about how they've always had a ridiculous money advantage, and including last year when they didn't even make the CFP. Despite having an unbelievable advantage in scheduling and everything else, they just didn't take care of the business they needed to take care of. Right? Right? Any questions there? Here's the more than $40 million according to, I believe it was actually, the list was put together by perhaps 247 or perhaps CBS Sports. Either way. The more than $40 million rosters, LSU, Miami, Notre Dame, Ohio State, and Oregon, and Texas A&M. So 7. Right off $40 million, Georgia, Michigan, Ole Miss, Tennessee, USC, and then the rest is on a 247 article that I don't subscribe to. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. I think there is a number. This is the way I'm going to officially talk about it. I think there is a number, and I don't know what it is. But if you're below it, you really can't compete for a national championship. But I don't think spending the top money makes you any more likely once you're above that number. Spending $42 million versus $37, I don't think that's really lighting you on fire to go win a national championship. But I do think there is a number, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it's 30, maybe it's 28. There's a number where if you're spending below it, it just becomes you're a mid-major in March Madness. Like you're just going to have to upset the world and go on a Cinderella run, but it's so much less likely. So congratulations, Notre Dame. You're above that number. Let's see how it doesn't work out for you this year. But preemptively, work on your tiers, right? Sell it. That's number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the two of us.
Finds Williams again straight away. Couple of pounds left and defers to McNeil. Jabs right, wraps it back to Williams. Backdoor feed, catch. Lubin jams it down. Threads the needle, does Williams. 15-5 pack lead.
NC State got some good news over the weekend. NC State basketball got some good news over the weekend. Ven-Allen Lubin is returning to Raleigh. Ven-Allen Lubin is one of the class of 2022 high school recruits that played 4 years and 4 seasons. Granted, he played them at 4 different schools, but he played 4 years and 4 seasons, which means The recent rulings in courts across the country have granted him an extra year of eligibility. His name was in the transfer portal, which means he could have looked elsewhere, but he is electing to return to NC State. They've already posted about him. He's in team meetings and all of that. Listen, Justin Gainey, the new head coach of NC State, former NC State player, is going to run a different program and look for different things in his players than Will Wade did at NC State. I'm not sure Ven-Allen Lubin's archetype, right? The 6'8", 6'9", skilled, little ground-bound big is what Justin Gainey looks for. He seems like he's a guy that's going to value length, that's going to value switchability on defense. He's going to rim protectors. Like he's defense. But you don't turn down good players if they just like show up available in mid-August. You don't do it. He's a 13-7 guy last year on a team that did not get the most out of anybody on that roster. He could easily be a 15-8, 15-9 guy in the ACC. Like that's not anything to mess with. If he can play, if he's available, you bring him onto your roster. Now, maybe you have to tweak his role. Maybe you have to tweak how you play a little bit when he's out there. But where the name of the game in college sports is just talent acquisition, how can you get the most talent onto your roster for the least amount of money? If Ven-Allen Lubin shows up with a court ruling that says he's eligible and you can add him, it's not like you're adding him or recruiting him at the expense of time spent elsewhere. Right? If there were 1 million people in the transfer portal and they were all considering NC State, you might not spend a lot of time on a particular type of player if you're chasing someone that more fits your basketball ideals. But if it's a handful and one of them is interested, yes, you make it work. Did part of me want to see Ven-Allen Lubin go like to Wake Forest or something and just complete like a ridiculous career where he started at Notre Dame, ACC, went to Vanderbilt, SEC, went to UNC, ACC, goes to NC State, ACC, and then gone somewhere else just for the story, just for the vibes, maybe. But going back to NC State, I think is good for everybody. I think NC State has minutes to be earned down low, which obviously Ven-Allen Lubin will be interested in playing. And I think NC State needs as much talent as they possibly can in first year of Justin Gainey. Would not be surprised if he is near, if not above, his career high in scoring, which came from last year of 13.6. Which, with Matt Abel going from NC State to UNC, this now means when State and UNC play this year, it'll be the first time in program history that they both have a transfer that came directly from the opposing team. Think about that. You want to really make somebody from like 1984's head explode? Tell them that. That's number 2. How about number 1? Carolina Panthers had a preseason game on Saturday. They took on the Buffalo Bills in week 1 of preseason, game 2 for the Carolina Panthers. On Friday, while we were out at the high school OT Jamboree, Wake Forest High School, which was great, by the way. Shout out to everybody there. We broke down what we wanted to see. And the low-hanging fruit, the obvious, of course, this is what they want to see, this is what we want to see, was Jonathan Brooks playing football and Jonathan Brooks being healthy. Okay, that was the most important thing, especially with Chuba Hubbard's injury. He has the hamstring that he's dealing with. You needed Jonathan Brooks, to get carries, to get catches, to get hit, to stand back up. And he did that. So at the most bare minimum level, successful game for the Carolina Panthers. Jalen Phillips, Princely Umanmielen, edge rushers, got after Josh Allen a little bit, made his life a little difficult. So new edge rusher. And by the way, Devin Lloyd, the other, we'll talk about the new guys quickly. Jalen Phillips looked every bit exactly what you paid for. Looked like a disruptor, looked like somebody that is going to make plays when you need to. Physically, he is a monster. Jalen Phillips looked good. If we're doing pass-fail here, pass. Devin Lloyd, I thought, took really good control of the defense. You could see him communicating a lot pre-snap, which I think is important. They'll get better at that, right? You saw him doing a lot of pointing and yelling at his teammates, and then right before the ball snapped, he kind of had to go like, never mind, because they don't have that shorthand down yet. They will get better at it. Devin Lloyd, pass. Princely Umanmielen, a guy with a ton of potential and now a ton of opportunity with Nick Scorton being out for the season with the injury. He got after Josh Allen. Pass. If you want to talk about people that would, pass fail would get the fail, everyone on the interior of the offensive line. Guards and centers, if you played, likely it's a fail. You were getting pushed around. They actually, there are certain positions that have to be replacement level. They have to be like basically okay in order to evaluate other positions, right? I talk about quarterback this way all the time. I think a lot of teams would play camp arms. They would play, rookies who have no chance of making the roster at quarterback to protect the guys that they care more about. I think they would play them a lot in preseason, except for the fact that you can't evaluate wide receivers. You can't evaluate offensive line if you have a quarterback that doesn't know what the heck they're doing back there. Thus, second and third stringers, guys that have a little bit more value to the franchise, end up playing a bunch more. Offensive line is one of those positions that you have to be decent just to give other people a look. I don't know if Jonathan Brooks had a great day outside of staying healthy because the offensive line wasn't giving him much to work with on the interior. Some of you are very mad at Bryce Young. I get quarterback is aware that the entire offense, their production of the entire offense is going to, rest on their shoulders. But, he was not doing much because the pocket was collapsing on the inside. Matter of fact, let's go quickly here through the 3 drives. The starting offense had 3 drives, 3 and out. I'll talk you through them. First run, Jonathan Brooks run for 0 yards. Interior of the offensive line collapsed. Next play, Bryce complete to Tremble for 5 yards. Nothing wrong with the play, although the left guard was getting blown up and driven into his lap. So, again, not great for the interior. Incomplete pass to Leggett. It really wasn't to Leggett. It was a throwaway. Nothing doing. No one open immediately. Pressure on him again. Not much there. 3 and out. Drive 2. Bryce to Jonathan Brooks for 9 yards. Look at that. Kept the play alive. Little dump off. Jonathan Brooks ran for a loss of 1 yard. You'll guess it. Interior offensive line. Bryce incomplete to Tremble. Pass was knocked down at the line of scrimmage. That's a play you just got to take. Again, to this point, Bryce has done nothing to earn my vitriol. Interior offensive line has done a little bit. Drive 3, Brooks up the middle, 6-yard gain, looking good. Bryce to Coker, 9 yards, beautiful. But guess what? Called back on a penalty because Fortner, the center, a.k.a. interior offensive line, was downfield. It was a little RPO action, just a little quick one. Jalen Coker caught it. Should have been a first down. It's not there. Next play, complete to Sanders for 3 yards. Bryce sacked. You'll guess it. Offensive line not holding up. Not much to get mad about Bryce at. Not much for Bryce to do. And listen, I've been described as a Bryce hater way more than I've been described as a Bryce big fan. But you got to call a spade a spade. Quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, they need certain other positions to do their job in order to adequately judge them for their job. The biggest takeaway as far as scheme, and I didn't love all the play calling, but when the Panthers offense went to 3 wide receiver sets, and they did so 7 times on their 9 plays with the top guys, Tetero McMillan went into the slot 5. So when they go 3 wide receivers, they're more likely to have Jalen Coker remain outside, bring someone else into play outside, and bump Tetero McMillan inside. So we'll see how that goes, if that continues. Which would actually, just for comparison's sake, Tetero McMillan's always related to Mike Evans. If they keep bumping him into the slot for 3 wide receiver sets, Mike Evans does some of that, but that's really like Drake London's kind of bread and butter. That'd be them trying to turn him into a different division rival's top wide receiver, which I don't hate at all. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is the starting 5. Brought to you by Baker Home Exteriors. The Baker family has roofed the Carolinas since 1915. Baker Home Exteriors, roofing, siding, windows, and doors. Always good work. Baker Home Exteriors. BakerHomeExteriors.com. Right now, we need some numbers game contestants. Oh, get ready, everybody. We got the Joe Bros, the Jonas Brothers. Call 919-860-5326 for your chance to compete in the numbers game and win a pair of tickets to see the Jonas Brothers at the Lenovo Center on October 1st. The Jonas Brothers, Lenovo Center, October 1st. Tickets go to the winner of the numbers game. We need 2 contestants. Call in now, 919-860-5326. Max, give me a Jonas Brothers song. Let me just the title.
The year 3000.
The year 3000. If you want to see them play the year 3000, 919-860-5326. Call in now. Numbers game next.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Shador is somebody that showed you some signs last year and that people are excited about. And yet you're bringing the past with Deshaun Watson back into the fold here. The only thing I can think is that they're thinking, let's just throw him out there. We're already paying him and try to lose as many games as possible in order to make sure that we secure the best possible draft position that we can.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
A lot has changed since 1915. The way the Baker family treats people hasn't. They've roofed the Carolinas for over 100 years. The motto puts it plainly: we shall do good work, at a profit if we can, at a loss if we must, but always good work. Trust the team that's kept that promise for generations. Baker Home Exteriors. Always good work. Visit BakerHomeExteriors.com.
Hey, man, been to Sharky's lately?
Yeah, man, I was there last night with you.
Oh, yeah. The wings and the burgers are killer. They have so many beers, it's hard to choose, you know?
I know. You know, they got trivia on Tuesdays and luck of the draw darts on Sunday, man. I love them both.
Yeah, I love that place, man.
You know what, man? I think Sharky's may be the best bar in the world.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. Let's go grab a beer.
Sharky's at the corner of Delta Lake Drive and Durham Road. Open 7 days a week.
Hey, this is Luke with Newcomb & Company. We're a residential, commercial, plumbing, HVAC company who's been serving the community for over 70 years. Honesty is the biggest policy around here. You know, we take pride in everything we do, anything we touch. We're not one of those companies that come in, throw it in, and then you can't get a hold of them again. We're there with you hand in hand. Here at Newcomb & Company, what stands apart from other companies is we actually do more than just AC and heat pumps. We do boilers, geothermals, furnaces, radiant floor, anything that is odds and ends that nobody else can touch is what we thrive on. At Newcomb & Company, we do same-day service. That's also another thing that helps us stand apart from other places is we do same-day service because we have enough professionals to get out to these houses to solve what the problems are. And we're on 24/7 on emergency basis, weekends, nights, holidays, you name it, we're there.
Newcomb & Company, your Carrier factory authorized dealer. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. The contestants, Adam in Durham and Paul in Fuquay, and they will be competing for some Joe Bros tickets. The Jonas Brothers at the Lenovo Center on October 1st. Pair of tickets going to the winner. First, we have to decide who goes first. We'll bring them each onto the show, ask them the same question. Max will be the judge for today. He'll pick his favorite answer, and that person will get to go first. We'll start with Adam in Durham. Adam, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. The question for today, as it often is on Mondays, we just wrapped up a weekend. So what was the highlight of your weekend? What was the most exciting part of your weekend? But remember, we're a sports show, so you have to keep it sports-related somehow.
This is like the whole reason I called it. I'm not even going to lie because I just wanted to say this on the phone. I got to throw the first pitch out at the Durham Bulls game, which was awesome.
Oh, threw the first pitch at the Durham Bulls game. I do have to ask, was it a strike?
It was a little low and outside. But
okay, but it didn't skip?
I didn't, it wasn't bad. So.
You didn't bounce it?
Is the batter chasing it?
No, it made the glove, so it was pretty good.
All right. I have a first pitch story I'll tell when we're done here. Max, any follow-ups? Nope. All right, then we'll go on to the next. You are locked in with Through the First Pitch Durham Bulls game, Adam. Paul and Fuquay, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Same question to you to see who goes first. It is Monday, which means we just wrapped up a weekend. What was the absolute highlight of your weekend? But because we're a sports show, it has to be sports-related.
I went to the yard sale for Lenovo for the Canes.
Did you get anything cool?
I didn't really find anything that great.
All right. Max, any follow-ups?
What did you buy, Paul? Did you get anything?
I just got an old jersey, so that was pretty cool.
All right. Hey, that could be worse. All right, Max, you get to choose out of Adam. These are both very local, very specific. Adam, who threw the first pitch out at the Durham Bulls, maybe it wasn't a strike, but it did hit the glove. He didn't skip it, which is a big deal. Paul and Fuquay, he went to the Canes yard sale, which for those of you that don't know, once a year you got to get there super early if you want the good stuff. The Canes do like a spring cleaning almost, but it's in the summertime, and that just all like old gear, gloves, jerseys, like just kind of anything they have that they don't want anymore, they put out there and sell, and fans can go buy.
While I respect the dedication necessary to make it to the yard sale, he didn't really sell me on. He was like, just got like an old jersey. It was all right.
I've heard mixed reactions of this year's yard sale.
Yeah, I heard the selection wasn't as good in general, but he didn't really sell me on it. Versus the other one, he said he called specifically just to say that he threw the first pitch. So Adam's first pitch, we'll let him go first.
How funny would it have been if he called in just to say first pitch and I changed up the question on him and said, like, what's the best nacho topping? And he's like, well, I threw the first pitch, guys, so I don't care about nachos.
What's your favorite cold drink on a hot summer evening?
Yeah, he's like, first pitch? Oh, sorry, what'd you say? Either way, Adam in Durham gets to go first. Paul, don't worry, you'll have your chance. Just have to sit on hold for a minute or two. Adam, are you ready to pick your category?
Yes, sir.
All right, they are NFL players that were Von Miller's teammates at some point or another. He just signed with the Cowboys. MLB players that are all left-handed. NBA players that have a Z in their name somewhere. Or NHL Hurricanes only.
Oh, go Canes.
All right. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. I will say the team in this category, even though we know it, just to keep it fair timing-wise with the other categories. Do you have any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Alexander Nikishin, Carolina Hurricanes.
17.
Incorrect. Eric Cole, Carolina Hurricanes.
30.
Incorrect. Alexander Nikishin, Carolina Hurricanes.
24.
Incorrect. Eric Cole, Carolina Hurricanes.
20.
Incorrect. Alexander Nikishin, Carolina Hurricanes.
10.
Incorrect. Eric Cole, Carolina Hurricanes.
24.
Incorrect. Alexander Nikishin, Carolina Hurricanes.
I'm so bad. That's so embarrassing.
Do you have some friends that are big Canes fans?
I am. That's why it's so embarrassing.
You better hope they're not listening.
Because some people might consider it joke-worthy that you guessed Rod Brindamore's number right out the jump for Alexander Nikishin.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
And
yeah,
you may have mixed in a Seth Jarvis's number in there.
The first time caller vibes. I'm too nervous.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I tell people you can make fun of numbers game participants, but only after you call in and feel the live momentum.
The ticking clock.
It changes
I got like the heart pound and stuff.
It's much easier just sitting in your car. But the good news for you is ties go to whoever go first. So you're still alive. That is an offer, and it's a rough one. But if it's a double offer, you still get the ticket. So stay on the line. We'll see if it holds up.
All right.
That brings us to Paul and Fuquay. Paul, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. The categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL players that were Von Miller's teammates at some point or another. Major League Baseball players, these are all lefties. Or NBA players that have a Z, as in zoology, in their name.
Let's go with the baseball players, lefties.
All right. These are all left-handed baseball players. I'll give you the team or the player, and the player, I should say. You give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. You need at least one for the win, but keep going for the perfect score. Do you have any questions before we get started?
No.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Freddie Freeman, Los Angeles Dodgers.
33.
Incorrect. Chris Sale, Atlanta Braves.
14.
Incorrect. Freddie Freeman, Los Angeles Dodgers.
32.
Incorrect. Chris Sale, Atlanta Braves.
Pass.
Juan Soto, New York Mets.
24.
Incorrect. Freddie Freeman, Los Angeles Dodgers.
39.
Incorrect. Chris Sale, Atlanta Braves.
12.
Incorrect. Juan Soto, New York Mets.
29.
Incorrect. Freddie Freeman, Los Angeles Dodgers.
28.
The double offer on a Monday. Unfortunately, ties go to whoever go first. So you are not the winner, Paul. But I did realize I didn't update any of the numbers. So, Paul, thank you very much for calling. Hopefully you had some fun.
Thank you.
For both lists, the numbers we were looking for, Freddie Freeman, number 5, Chris Sale, 51, Juan Soto, 22, Alexander Nikishin, 21, Eric Cole, 26, and I don't believe we got any further. So double offer to start, but that does mean that our winner is Adam in Durham. Adam, congratulations.
Let's go. I got to play the lottery tonight. The odds of winning like that are crazy.
I mean, I can't say it was the most highly efficient, well played game, but you're going to see the Jonas Brothers nonetheless. So stay on the line, and Max will do what he needs to do to get the info to give you your prize.
Awesome, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Our guy Micah, who regular listeners know, he calls in a lot, plays a lot, particularly in that Canes category. He is in the YouTube chat fuming right now that he did not get in after that performance.
I will say this. It doesn't happen every time, but it's surprising how many people guess 17 for not Rod Brindamore. And I think it's just when you start panicking, you see 17 a lot if you're around the Canes, right? Like if you go to a game, there's a lot of 17 jerseys. There's a lot of 17 on the walls, like the posters and everything. And I think when you panic, you just go to a number that you associate with it. I'm not condoning it, but it's more big Canes fans, or at least casual Canes fans, have incorrectly guessed 17 than I thought would ever happen playing this game. And that's got to be a unique phenomena somehow. And I do overthink the numbers game, but that's kind of crazy, right? Like the Chicago Bulls. Do you think when Bulls fans panic, they go 23 for B.J. Armstrong? I don't know. Maybe. But it is crazy. And I can see why other Canes fans, you do deserve some jokes. Obviously, Adam and Durham, you're one of us. You listen to the show. MVP. But I do think it's a little fair if your buddies give you a little guff, right? If you catch some jokes in the group chat or next time you're hanging out at a buddy's house, I think that's completely fair. And Paul and Fuqua, he just you could tell he was just throwing darts and hoping for the best. Sometimes that's a strategy. I did mention I have a first pitch story, and I want to make good on that. So ironically, I've never thrown out a first pitch for the Durham Bulls here in Durham, but at a previous job, I threw out a first pitch at a Durham Bulls game when they were the visitors. That's just a fun fact. That's not the story. The story is that first pitch came, I guess, when I was closer to throwing a football. I played football in college, for those who don't know. Most of you hope do. But I hadn't thrown a baseball since I was probably, 12, 13, since I stopped playing baseball. But I had thrown a football a million times in between then. So, and I didn't do all of the practice that I think a lot of people do. I kind of trusted my athleticism to not skip it and throw it in there anyway. But when I threw it, I guess I threw it like a base or like a football kind of, and which turned out to be a curveball. I'd never thrown a curveball in my life. But the player for the team that it was another AAA team, the player that caught it came up to me and you do a little bro hug when you're done throwing the first pitch, and he whispered in my ear basically, and I'll censor it a little bit, you jerk, did you try to throw me a curveball? I guess not telling him it was a curveball. He thought I was trying to make him drop it or something. He was kind of joking around did you just throw me a curveball? And I had no idea I had. I think what I did was I threw him a spiral is what I threw him, which I guess is kind of similar there. But turns out I can throw a curveball. Didn't know it. So if anyone wants to have me out for a first pitch, just know I'm throwing the 2. I'm trying to make you chase because I don't know how to throw a baseball any other way. That's a lie. I can actually do it now. I've played catch with my son. I'm better now. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. When we come back, a new Panther as of today. finally, officially, a new Panther. How does he impact the offense? Stick around.
The Adam Gold Show.
I've been critical of Dave Canales ever since he became the head coach because I thought he never bought into Bryce Young. But the way he has talked about his quarterback so far in the preseason, the way he has praised his ability to slow the game down, makes me think Canales is on board and he thinks he's got something. And if Bryce Young can be great in the first half of games, I think the Panthers might have a really good year.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
You put sunscreen on when you go out in the sun. Did you know that the sun could hurt your car, too? It's true. Keep cool this summer and protect the interior from fading and cracking with a custom window tint from Soundstation and Security. The sun's harmful UV rays can also hurt your paint on the exterior. That's why Soundstation and Security offers custom ceramic coating. Think of it as a little sunscreen with Soundstation and Security. 2 locations in downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Online at myhotsound.com.
Everyone is talking about the shots, but fewer people are talking about the cost, side effects, plateaus, or what comes next. I'm Dr. Craig McGiffin with Raleigh Weight Loss Center. If you started injections and now want a sustainable next step, our program is built for exactly that. We combine real food guidance, one-on-one coaching, and targeted nutraceuticals to help support a healthy metabolism, preserve lean muscle, and keep progress moving. We use a proprietary system that has helped over 100,000 people nationwide lose the weight, and many clients have seen major results without staying dependent on injections long term.
Hey, this is Dennis from 99.9 The Fan. Summer is ending, and now is the time to prioritize yourself. Get your confidence back and set your long-term health goals. Raleigh Weight Loss Center. Schedule your free 15-minute phone consultation with Raleigh Weight Loss Center and see if their program is right for you. Schedule today by calling 919-897-7506. That's 919-897-7506 or online at RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. Results may vary.
Meineke's highly skilled and certified technicians always treat your car like it's their own. With over 50 years of experience, Meineke will diagnose and fix any issue with precision and care using the best state-of-the-art equipment. You can always depend on Meineke to do the job right and get you back on the road in no time. Save time and schedule an appointment now. Visit Meineke.com today. Trust your key with Meineke. Meineke, doing car care right.
Your team deserves better than a boring holiday party.
Rush Hour Karting has high-speed racing, axe throwing, scratch-made food, private rooms, and more. Everything you need, one destination. And right now, you can save up to 30% when you book by August 31st. The bigger the event, the bigger the savings. Book it. Pay the deposit. Party when you want.
Does not apply to currently booked events. Minimum purchase requirements.
Rush Hour Karting. 20 years of serious adult fun. RHKFun.com.
Oh, Michael McDonald. We've had Max on the show quite a bit recently, which means a lot of Michael McDonald being played around here on the drive. Did you have any say? Sorry, everybody. If you don't know the bit, it's not even a bit. Max,
it's kind of become one at this point.
Max is a good amount younger than me, yet he listens to Michael McDonald, and I think it's funny. So it's become something that we touch on most times where he sits in for Dennis and produces the show.
It is getting to the point where I'm artificially inflating the Spotify numbers now by doing this.
That makes sense. It started off like this was authentic, though. We did not create. This was not like a comedy creation. It's just become something. Did you have any say over the music at the high school OT Jamboree?
No.
Because
were they playing Michael McDonald?
They played Michael McDonald at the high school OT Jamboree.
No way. I didn't even notice that.
Just between games or while we were waiting for games or whatever, they played Michael McDonald. And because of you, I now have like a much better grasp on the Michael McDonald discography. So just offhand, I looked at my wife who was sitting there, my son and daughter were there. We were watching the high school football, and I kind of was just like, oh, Michael McDonald. And she was like, really? Like that's that quick for you? It took 2 seconds. I was like, exactly. I'm kind of becoming an expert. But either way, Michael McDonald, shout out. We are boosting the numbers, giving the drive bump. The record label of Michael McDonald should be giving us some kickbacks because we play it quite a bit.
There's laws against that, I think.
I think we're putting a lot of young people onto Michael McDonald. Maybe. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. If you are a fan of what was old and nostalgic, maybe you're a fan of the Carolina Panthers adding Darren Waller today because you're hoping you get like the 2020 vintage of Darren Waller. Darren Waller is one of the more fascinating individuals to ever be perhaps the best at his position for a year in a professional sport. He is a player that battled some vices early on in his career, had to really do some work on himself, is an incredible athlete, like truly incredible athlete, played at Georgia Tech in college. Ended up being, I don't think it's outlandish to say the best pass-catching tight end. Maybe not the best all-encompassing tight end, but the best pass-catching tight end over probably a 2-year period in 2020 and 2021 with the Raiders. He bounces around a little bit, ends up on the Giants, deals with some injuries, gives up football, starts a rap career, writes a rap song, a hip-hop song all about how other teams can't guard him and how the defensive coordinators used to have to scheme for him. Eventually decides to come back to football. Last year, he's on the Dolphins, where on like a per route and per target basis, he was phenomenal, but he does get hurt. Has a good game against the Panthers, but again, didn't play a ton that season because he gets hurt. So I don't know what the Panthers are going to get out of him this year. I don't know. I assume it's low cost, so it's low risk, high reward. I think there's two ways to look at it. One, at what he brings to the offense, which is another pass-catching option, kind of a big slot. It's obvious that the Panthers like height on their receivers, so it's no doubt that they got height at their tight end. He is a power forward in a tight end's body, or a tight end in a power forward's body. The other way to look at it is it probably says something about what they think about the tight ends on their roster. Right? Whether you think it says something about Jatavian Sanders or whether you think it says something about Jatavian Sanders and Tommy Tremble, I don't know if they thought they had the guy that can go downfield on third down and make a clutch catch. And Darren Waller can do that.
Do you want to hear something gross about the Darren Waller signing?
Something gross.
His number's been assigned. What number do you think?
Oh, jersey number. I thought you were saying contract number.
No, his jersey number has been assigned. If you had to guess, what do you think it would be?
Something gross? I don't know what a gross number would be. 94.
35.
That's not bad.
For a tight end?
That's not bad.
I don't
35,
know.
That's a football player's number.
He's not a fullback. He's a tight end.
He's
not Mike Tolbert.
Are we sure?
I guess they could use him.
He's not
they
a
could
U?
use him in that role.
He's
if they
not a move tight end, as they're calling him now. By the way, move tight end is just fullback with a publicist. The move tight end is a fullback. Sometimes fullbacks line up like on the wing off the tackle. Like it's somewhere you sometimes hang out. Move tight end is a real like, I don't want to be a fullback. Okay, you're not. You're a move tight end.
You're a move tight end. It makes you feel better. I feel like, and this is I guess a big blind spot, but it's like whenever I picture a tight end, it's just like it's 80, it's 88, it's 80 something, but it doesn't not start with an 8.
So actually, this is kind of funny. Hold on. So the Panthers, if you look at their roster right now, their tight ends, if you include Darren Waller, who what was it, number 34 or 35?
35.
You have number 35.
Per Mike K.
You have number 35. You also have number 0 for Jatavian Sanders. You also have Tommy Tremble, 82. Oh, no, Darren Waller on ESPN, it says 83.
That's David Moore's number.
Oh, you're right. Maybe that says something. Oh, no. Did we just uncover David Moore's not making the team?
Wow. We just clicking around on ESPN rosters. Did we break the news?
He'll wear 35 until David Moore gets the news, and then he'll wear 83. Is that what we're learning right now? because that kind of would be a bummer. They also have Caden Priscori, who wears number 40 at tight end, although he appears to be more of a blocking tight end. See, this is all confused because they also have a number here that his salary would be $15 million. They better not have paid anywhere near $15 million for Darren Waller, so ESPN might have to update some of their back ends, ESPN's roster for the Panthers. But that is the math. Actually, we'll advance the conversation this way. That is the math that needs to be done, right? They're not bringing in Darren Waller to not make the team. They're not bringing in Darren Waller to not be on the field on passing downs. If they bring in Darren Waller, they've done the math. They've talked about it. They have a new assistant coach in Darrell Bevel who coached him, meaning coached Darren Waller last year in Miami. So they have knowledge of how good he is, how in shape he is, what talent still remains. They brought him in with the idea of rostering him. They brought him in with the idea of playing him at least on passing downs, if not more often. So everybody else in that pass-catching group has to start doing the math, right? And I'm not saying David Moore specifically, but they're not going to keep 100 tight ends. You know what I mean? And if they are going to keep another tight end, the tight end that's clinging to the roster better darn sure be really good at special teams. Jatavian Sanders, the more you can do, you better be out there on pass protect or punt protect. You better be out there running down on kickoff. You better be out there doing it all because Darren Waller isn't doing all that. It changes the math of the roster, which is what I'm saying when I bring up that it does mean what they think of, like means good things for what they think of Darren Waller. It also could easily mean not good things for what they think of other guys on the roster. And it's a bummer because I was high on Jatavian Sanders coming out of the draft. I thought he was a picture-perfect fit with a 4th-round pick to the Panthers. I said it before the draft, and then they drafted him with the first pick in the 4th round. I was like, oh, they like him even more than I thought they should. But I was a big fan, and it hasn't come together. And his skill set, while different, right? He's not a giant. He's not the physical, imposing presence that Waller is, but his speed and his agility would lead towards him filling a similar role, right? Getting down the seam, being the guy that can make heavy defenses. If you don't have enough defensive backs on the field, you get the mismatch of a linebacker or a big safety trying to guard Jatavian Sanders. That's where he should eat. That is kind of where Darren Waller has eaten when he's at his best. So there's a little bit of a battle there, and the battle might be over, which is kind of a bummer, because I still think he's got some potential there. Jatavian Sanders is one that, when he goes elsewhere and catches 40 balls, I'm going to be like, I told you so. You just didn't know how to use them. But if he goes somewhere else and never catches 40 balls, I'll be sitting there going, that's right, I'm going to say absolutely nothing about it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. No, I'm kidding. As I proved earlier, I have accountability. I'll eat it if I was completely wrong. Don't worry. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Another bit of news, or not news, but that the Darren Waller thing will play into. 7 plays of the 9 that the Panthers' first-team offense played against the Bills included 3 wide receivers on the field. So 7 times, 3 wide receivers. Tetairoa McMillan went into the slot for 5 of those. I wonder if that doesn't change or if they move him into the slot less because Darren Waller can play big slot and they don't have to go to 3 wide receivers. They can have the 2 tight ends out there and slide Darren Waller out to the slot. Thus, you have just giants potentially on the same side, right? You can have Tetairoa McMillan and Darren Waller to the same side, McMillan on the outside, Waller in the slot. And then where are you going to hide any undersized defensive backs over there? Because you'll just throw jump balls all day. It is a different wrinkle that the Panthers can throw at defenses once they get Waller up to speed, and I wouldn't expect that anytime soon, right? Veteran, older guy, bring him along slowly. I wouldn't expect him at joint practices or the next preseason game or anything crazy like that. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Thank you to Max for keeping us up and running today, as he's done a bunch recently. We mentioned it earlier, but extra shout out to High School OT for hosting us on Friday at Wake Forest High School for their high school football jamboree. The event was awesome. And coming up next, we have Panther Talk here on 99.9 The Fan. So you'll hear from Anish Shroff, voice of the Panthers, Dave Canales, the newsmakers that be inside that Panthers facility. That's coming up in just a few minutes. So enjoy that. And as always, we'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy Michael McDonald on your way out.
Excuse me, you think you could spare a square?
Sorry, what?
A square on your smartphone.